Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 7 of the Intermission Podcast, the show where two film students discuss classic, iconic, and obscure films from times gone by. We're your hosts, Oscar W. Fitchett.
Hey, Robbie Tweedo.
Hello, Robbie.
Got my levels peaks then.
That's going to be beautiful when I edit that.
I'm so sorry.
There was a time when I was editing The Godfather Part 3 where you just mounted the mic and just went, and I love him first, or something like that. And I had a beautiful time with that. I was like, let me just turn that level down just a little bit. Just
slightly.
Just slightly. There you go. So that's the thing. I find it difficult, right, to move swiftly into this bit of the introduction when we've just been totally bullshitting for a good while.
Yeah, just chatting about stuff.
There's no real flow, but there is still a flow, but, you know.
Last N-Bird.
N-Burger?
Yeah. Last Airbanger. And the likes.
Oh, it's a brilliant show. But that's not what this is. But before we get on to the actual thing, I want to apologise for something.
Oh.
I want to apologise to everyone who listened to last week's episode because my audio was terrible. And I'll tell you why my audio was terrible.
Go on.
Last week, Robbie, we had a repeat today when I used GarageBand for my recording, and audio levels didn't seem like they were showing up well when I had my microphone plugged in this week or last week. And we had a little while of me faffing on with that. And what I realised when listening back, I'm like, the audio sounds a bit more echoey on my end. Why is that? And I looked at my microphone. When I unplugged the microphone last week, it didn't fully plug in. So I wasn't recording through my microphone. I was recording through my Mac's microphone.
Oh, no.
Which, I mean, luckily, it just automatically records to... I mean, I would have stopped if I wouldn't have seen an audio level, but, like...
Yeah.
You know, that's why the audio wasn't good, so I want to apologise for that. There might be people who didn't even notice. And they might be like... But I totally saw... And I compared it to, like, the Apocalypse Now episode. I was like, yeah, my audio is not as good at all. So, I mean, thank God I've got a nice new iMac. I mean, by new, it's about a year old. So, I mean, that's not really new anymore. But, you know...
Well, I got a new car, actually, last week. I forgot to tell you.
Did you?
Yeah, I say new. It's still a Corsair, but it's not 2002 plate. It's 2008 plate now.
Oh,
so it's only 12 years old instead of 18. So that's pretty good.
2008 when I was 13. What a time!
Oh, excellent stuff.
What a time!
So that's still old, but technically new.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what that is. Hopefully, this isn't the same thing. It definitely isn't. So I just saw my magical clicks.
I think mine are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming through my microphone.
I love testing the audio as we're doing the show as well.
Oh, yeah. It just makes everyone feel like they're in really safe hands for the rest of it.
When And We're Rolling bleeds into the intermission.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to ask you something, Robbie.
Go on, mate.
Oh, a few questions.
Mm-hmm.
One, did you use the Paco pickup line on Julia?
I didn't. I completely forgot about it.
The next question was going to be, did it work? And I guess it didn't happen. It doesn't matter.
I'll use it when I take her out for tea next Tuesday. By next Tuesday, I mean tomorrow, because that will be the next Tuesday.
So, as you're all listening to this, that would have happened, and you will find out about it the week.
You'll find out about it next week.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
And did you mention... Oh, no. Right. This is another very important thing I need to say, because...
Go on.
Right. I think through one of my greatest achievements, one of our greatest achievements, no, one of my greatest achievements in this podcast. No, one of mine. One of mine.
Get yourself out of here, Robbie. You don't count.
Well, it involves you within this Intermission podcast was exposing you to John Cazale. And
oh my God, yes.
And I like to think he's kind of being the, pseudo face of this
Oh yeah, the
show.
big face.
That's not
as
ours. But another thing I want to apologise, and one thing I need to correct immediately now. We've been pronouncing his name wrong all this time.
What?
It's not Cazale, it's Cazal.
Oh my Christ. I feel awful.
To be fair, I never heard it spoken. I've always just seen it spelt. And it only took me until I watched a trailer for a documentary about the man, to which I heard someone say, John Cazale.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, so that needs to be corrected immediately before we talk about this film.
What a twist.
Yeah, so John Cazale.
Jesus.
Not Cazale. I'm going to have to... but yeah.
That's so devastating.
But yeah, so that's that. John
Sorry,
Cazale.
John.
We love you so much. I need to show you something. I was up until about 2 a.m. last night doing some nice little photoshops, and I did a thing that might be the new profile picture. For
yes. Okay.
For the Intermission Podcast. You might see it by now, but, if you have, then well done. But, yeah, I need to show you it,
well done, you win nothing.
I need to show you it, Robbie.
Okay.
But speaking of John Cazale, let's move on to this week's topic of film, which is the 1975 crime biopic Dog Day Afternoon, directed by Sidney Lumet, written by Frank Pearson, loosely based on the magazine article by P.F. Kluge and Thomas More. The film stars Al Pacino, John Cazale, James Broderick, Chris Sarandon, and Charles Jourdain. And the plot synopsis, according to Letterboxd, is based on the true story. Sonny and Sal attempt a bank heist which quickly turns sour and escalates into a hostage situation and standoff with the police. Now, when I say that's according to Letterboxd, that's a section from Letterboxd. Because one thing I've realised within this film, both Letterboxd and IMDb, the plot synopsises give a crucial point away in the plot synopsis. So I saw them, I was like, yeah, that shouldn't be in there. So I took that swiftly out there just immediately, right off the bat.
I imagine I know what point we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I'll wait until we get chatting.
Accolades of the film includes that it has a 95% on the tomato meter and an audience score of 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has an 8 out of 10 on IMDb and 4.2 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd, placing it at number 179 on their top 250. The film won a Writers Guild of America award for Best Drama Written Directly for the Screen. It was nominated for a Directors Guild of America award for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Motion Pictures. It was nominated for 6 BAFTAs, including Best Soundtrack, Best Screenplay, Best Director, Best Film, and it won 2 BAFTAs, including Best Film Editing for Dede Allen and Best Actor for Al Pacino. It was nominated for 7 Golden Globes, including Best Acting Debut for Chris Sarandon, Best Screenplay for Frank Pearson, Best Supporting Actor for Charles Jourdain, Best Supporting Actor for John Cazale, Best Drama Actor for Al Pacino, Best Director for Sidney Lumet, and Best Drama Picture. And the film was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including Best Film Editing, Best Supporting Actor for Chris Sarandon, Best Lead Actor for Al Pacino, Best Director for Sidney Lumet, Best Picture, and it won 1 Academy Award, being Best Original Screenplay for Frank Pearson. Now, Robbie, my instructions to you last week were directly to not look anything up about this film. Go into it completely blind, because one thing I've realised about this film is that it's, as the years go on, the film is kind of being... Things that I think should be a surprise are becoming a bit more just common knowledge if you just simply look into the film.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm going to remind people now, instantly, if you haven't seen Dog Day Afternoon, this is a spoiler talkative podcast about the film. So leave, go see Dog Day Afternoon, come back, watch this podcast, because I'm immediately going to say spoilers about the film.
Mm-hmm.
Give you a chance, and... Right, okay. It's becoming a lot more common knowledge now that this is an LGBT film.
Yes.
That's becoming a lot more common knowledge. And directly in the IMDb plot synopsis, it says, one man attempts to rob a bank in order to get some money for his partner's sex change.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a very integral plot point that I think should be left a surprise. This is my second time seeing this film. Robbie, this is your first time seeing Dog Day Afternoon. We're a week removed from watching Serpico, which is once again a Sidney Lumet film starring Al Pacino, edited by D.D. Allen, and also produced by Martin Bregman. So essentially a lot of the same crew within this film, and a film that we both really enjoyed. I thoroughly enjoyed that film. Robbie, what did you think of Dog Day Afternoon?
Right. This is starting to become a catchphrase of mine on this show, I've noticed. But I genuinely believe at this time that this is probably my favourite film that we've watched so far. I keep saying it a lot.
We keep watching good films.
We keep watching good ones, and they seem to get better every time. I loved it. I loved it so much. And honestly, with the LGBT angle on the film, I'm so glad that was a surprise. Yeah. I'm so glad that was something that was revealed to me by the plot as the plot was going along, because it's so well done.
Yes.
And I was watching this with my sister.
All right.
She was sat in the room whilst I was watching it, who was a member of the LGBT community. And she was over the fucking moon. Yeah. she was buzzing, and she was saying, "When did this film come out?" And I was like, 1975, and she was like, "What?"
Yes.
Her mind was completely blown.
One of my points is, like, it's incredible how relevant this film is today.
Oh God, yeah.
And one thing I've realized, a common theme as well. This is 2 weeks in a row now that we've discussed a Sidney Lumet film, and saying, like, he made films that managed to age beautifully.
Oh yeah.
And I think this one is another incredible example of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd completely agree with you. I mean, it's things. I mean, even then, I didn't think transgender and things like that were as prevalent in the 70s as they are now, but to see it represented in the 70s was baffling.
Yeah.
Like, I was not expecting it at all.
Like, obviously it would have been a thing in the 70s, but I think I remember a lot of LGBT media started being more known within the 80s, I think.
Yeah.
Like, at least from my just general knowledge, like when, you know, like the general, like, androgynous nature of such rock stars like David Bowie and Freddie Mercury, and obviously Elton John being just huge. I mean, in the 70s as well, he was evidently the song Amarina was the opening of this film. So I think, like, I'm aware that, like, I thought like that was more of a time period where something like this would have been done, but the fact it was mid 70s, and then this story was being told in a film, I think's great. Because when I first watched it, similar thing, I just knew it was a bank heist film. I knew it was a heist film that starred Pacino and directed by Sidney Lumet. And I was like, I'm in. Give me that. And then watching it, and then, I mean, we can talk more in detail about it, but when Leon got out of the car, and I was like, wait, what? And then they were like, yeah, this is his, they're married. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then I thought, because I watched this after Godfather Part 2 as well, and my thought was like, so this is the Pacino film from the 70s that's surprisingly gay.
Yeah.
When I thought that Godfather Part 2 was going to be that. Go and see the Godfather Part 2 discussion.
What do you remember? Like, I thought that's where, I thought it was where Serpico was going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was baited into it, and then I thought, no, I'm not getting baited with this again. When I was watching this, and I was like, no, I can't. There's no way I'm gonna be baited again here. I'm holding out on this, and then it was like, oh no, he is.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, great. So well done, everyone.
That's a surprising theme within these podcasts with Pacino films from the 70s. We were like, is this one gonna be gay?
Is this the gay one?
It's Dog Day Afternoon. It's
Dog Day Afternoon.
I read one review on Letterboxd where it's like started out as Dog Day Afternoon, ended as Dog Gay Afternoon. And I just had and I was
Jesus Christ.
I was like, leave, please, Letterboxd.
Well, that's gonna be a fun letterbox section.
Well, that was a positive review. So.
Oh Christ.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah.
That's one area we haven't explored, Robbie, is the overtly positive letterbox reviews where people just talk about wanting to fuck the main character. That's a genuine thing.
That's a nice little subsection.
A lot of it's a Timothée Chalamet film as well. If you immediately go to a Timothée Chalamet film, it's just a load of people just saying, oh, they want to bang Timothée Chalamet. But that's not what we're talking about right now.
And most of them are me.
I might have contributed one.
Nah, it's a good lad, isn't he?
But yeah, let's get into talking about this film, which,
yes,
again, second time watching this, and God, I forgot how fucking good it was. Forgot how absolutely good this was. I'll start with some of my notes here. I got here the opening montage does a great job at showcasing the working class New York, which is one thing I took away from that, which plays a big theme, I think, within this whole film, is about like that thing. But again, not too overt. There's not one moment where Pacino has a big speech like "fuck the higher class" or anything like that. But you know, there's
it's not Joker, but it's definitely the classism in it is definitely a theme.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the opening does a good job of kind of celebrating the working class aspect of New York.
Yeah, definitely.
I got Sonny save the cat moment is waiting for the parent with her child to leave before he does anything, which is one thing I immediately noticed, was like they were there, and then there was that shot about showing the parent like leaving with the kid in the pram. And you could tell, it's like, okay, you can tell that's the I mean, you could also look at it, maybe that's also like he's waiting for all customers to leave, which he was as well, but it could have been anyone. But I think that shows immediately, like, we get right into the thick of it. Like, right, these are bank robbers. We show John Cazale, Sal, holding the gun to the manager, and we know exactly what's happening. And then like the guy's, oh, can we like not do this? And then Sonny's like, no, we're doing it now. He's already got the gun to him. And then we show the mother and the child leave the bank, because I'm like, which I like that moment. He didn't need to have that, but again, it just shows like Sonny has, you know, he's not a ruthless.
He has morals.
Yeah, he's not doing this because look, let's get rich, motherfuckers. He's doing it because, well, we'll find out. It's such a messy start, and I love it. I love how like just instantly it's just immediate, like right from when he takes the gun out of the box, it's like he can't quite get the box off, and then he's holding the gun, and then it's like, I forgot the guy's name, the one who flakes out,
Stevie,
yeah. He's like, I can't do it, Sonny. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, what do you mean? And it's to me like, let him out. And the security guard's like, oh, okay. It's just such like a fucking like, it's like, don't take the car.
It's when he gets into the vault.
Oh, yeah.
There's only 11 grand in there because the money's been taken out that morning anyway.
Yeah,
It's so good.
And like the cashier's just crying. She's like, that's all there is. And he's like, oh no. And it's just, and it's just like a situation where everything that can go wrong does. And I just like right off the bat, and I love that. Like hang on, let me try and find the tagline, because the tagline of this film speaks perfectly. It's one of my favorite taglines to a film, actually, and it gets everything down like well to a T. The tagline is the robbery should have taken 10 minutes. 4 hours. 4 hours later, the bank was like a circus sideshow. 8 hours later, it was the hottest thing on live TV. 12 hours later, it was history, and it's all true. I think that's like such a perfect.
That's a great one.
And it's example again. They were meant to be in, out, and then it just got such fucked up, and it was from their own titting about as well as at a point.
Yeah.
Again, the fire is a big example where it's like, why did you have to light the fire? Sonny, why'd you have to do
find
that?
out why he did it anyway, because he's burning the records, isn't he? But
I just assumed it was. Oh no.
Funny, innit? I'm sick of it.
Burn evidence, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I got great use of gliding shots, which is a thing that goes through this entire film. Like, I noticed it when he was like trying to get when they were going through the cash registers and he was getting them to put money in that. I noticed that gliding shot, but that's the thing throughout this film, that just that smooth glide. It just works so well. Again, Lumet is I'm looking forward to next week when we talk about 12 Angry Men, because there's one gliding shot that might be my favorite shot in any film ever. And
that's exciting.
But it's my favorite film ever as well. But it's, again, we'll get 12 Angry Men. That's next week. But Lumet knows. Again, it's interesting because we talked about last week how he was a theater guy, then he became a TV guy, and then he went into film. He seems to just have mastered every element that he's done, because it's not like the film just feels like a theater guy come in and he doesn't know anything about the tech. He just knows about
Kenneth Branagh. Sorry, continue.
But you know what I mean? Like, because some theater directors might just be like, I'm just here to focus on the performances and the story elements and know really not how to handle the tech. But it almost looks like Lumet kind of, like, probably a lot of that helped from when he did TV as well. But he just seems to, like, he seemed to have wanted to know everything about how to enhance a story through all bits of medium. And I think that's a big example of this film, especially. One thing I haven't noted, but what I love, in contrast to Serpico, the lack of sound, the lack of score is amazing. Yeah. Again, there's that. I think there's only like one song, which is the Elton John song in the beginning. But I don't think there's any bit of score in the film at all. And I think that like it really puts you in it. It really does.
Oh, 100%, yeah. That plays into a note that I've got a bit later on, but I'll let you go.
17 minutes in, and I think this might be one of my new favourite films. Already love the cinematography, the story, and the dynamic between Sonny and Sal. Yeah. And at this point, I noted it down when the police first called the bank. So before we even got well into Moretti and all that stuff, before we even got, I know, like 17 minutes in, I was like, God, I'm well into this. I think it helped that I knew the film anyway, and I was expecting things, but I was just like watching it. I was like, man, I just can't. I wouldn't be able to take my eyes off this. Like, if I was flicking through channels and got to this film, I wouldn't be able to change it.
No, I mean, this is something that I was thinking the whole way through, is that I might have found a new film to add to my list of favourite films ever.
Yeah.
Just because of how it's very much what I like, and what you like, how you know that how I like things where it's taking these big scale ridiculous situations and finding the very, very mundane things in them that I find really endearing and very charming and very funny. Yeah. And that the full first half of this movie is exactly that.
Oh yeah, just slipping up.
It's finding the mundane in this massive, like, they're robbing a bank, but also there's like no money here, and he's kind of like set fire something for no reason, and it's really funny as well.
There's a lot of funny
moments, which I wasn't expecting.
There's one line that there's a funny bit of trivia in it, but it's later on in the film where Sonny asks Sal, "Where would you want to go? Anywhere?" And then Sal just thinks, and he goes, no, Sonny goes, any country, where would you want to go? And then Sal thinks, and Sal goes, Wyoming. And then Sonny goes, Wyoming. Well, that's not a country, but okay.
Yeah, he's like, I'll sort it.
Don't worry, Sal. Don't worry, Sal. But it's also the bit as well when they're like trying to get them, like, get in the vault, and they go, how are we meant to breathe? And then you can tell, like, he didn't think about that. He goes, this. And then to which the other one, I forgot the woman's name, but she goes, hang on, I need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And he goes, right, who else wants to go to the bathroom? And then like me. And then Sal goes, no, all of them are going to want to go. Like, it's...
There's a very funny line that comes out of the bit where she goes to the bathroom as well, and they find the other lady, and then Maria, I think she was called.
Yes, Maria.
It's the bit where them two are running out, and the woman has her arm around her. because she hasn't been in the bank for the full time. She just goes like, "Oh, we're being robbed."
Yeah.
And she goes around,
It's a robbery, honey.
like trying to catch her up to speed.
It's a bit.
It's so good.
That's another bit that I love a lot as well. Like connected to Maria, where it's the bit where it's later on in the film where Sonny. We'll get more in depth as we get along, but where Sonny starts lobbing money, and he's like doing his thing, like one of his things, and he just gets tackled by a dude. And you only know that's Maria's husband from the dude just going, Maria, and then like
screaming.
Yeah. But he never comes back, and I love that. Like that's just I wonder if that actually happened, but I just love that bit. Is like these little moments.
I mean, that's how it would be, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Just so chaotic.
That's why I like it. It's very grounded and very just things just kind of happen.
Yes.
But that's how life is.
Yes.
So
yeah. But yeah, I love that. By that point, I was like, yeah, I'm just down for this. I got Kazala's brilliant at being straight-faced, but also absolutely terrified. Because I love like when he starts in the film, it almost comes across like he's a stone-cold guy who's merciless and all that. Like that's how he kind of comes across.
Yeah.
There's a bit where it's early on into when the police hold up on them. And Sal is like, "Are we going to be all right, Sonny?" Or so he says something where he's like terrified of getting like arrested or gunned at or something. And you're like, "Oh, he's scared, but he's just good at like keeping composed." Like that's what it is. He's not like ruthless. He's probably shit scared of holding this gun.
Yeah, and he's also kind of a moron.
Oh yeah.
For the whole thing, he's a real idiot. For the whole part, it's very obvious that Sonny's the brains of the operation.
Oh yeah, and even then he's a bit of a.
And then he's a bit of a
he's a bit of a mess. It's not a smooth thing at all. It's
no.
But yeah, I'll say my one last bit here. No, I'll get to another point, and then we'll meet up to that point with your notes.
Cool.
When there's a shot with only one person in frame, it feels significant. Because that's one thing I noticed. There's not a lot of solo shots. There's a lot of shots where it's wides, far back, or like with multiple people in it. But one thing I've noticed, whenever there's like a close-up or just a shot with one person in it, it feels like that moment matters.
Yeah.
I mean, the main thing that pops in my mind is the phone call scene, which we will get into that, because... Oh boy. But
oh boy.
But that's one thing I like a lot. Like Lumet, no, I forgot the cinematographer's name. I'm gonna have to credit the cinematographer because it's really
incredible.
It's really good. Victor J. Kemper. His stuff was really good in this, and he clearly knew like why he needed to do close-ups. Oh, no, I'm just looking at like his filmography. He did Clue. He was the cinematographer for Clue, which I haven't seen.
Brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah, like you can tell like whenever close-ups were there, that's when something was mattered. I guess you can look at that in the sense of like they kind of were replicating almost like a news way of doing it.
Yeah.
And whenever they broke that distant shot as a news camera would be, that almost immediately meant we were watching something that wasn't meant for cameras to see almost. Like when
it feels more personal.
Yeah, which I love.
More of a private moment.
Yeah. My last note I'll say, and we'll meet at this scene, is I got in quotes Attica, and I got mate. Pacino is electric.
Oh God, he's so good.
That scene there, man. It's just it's chills, and I know, and I've seen that scene more than I've seen the film itself, because it's one of those iconic scenes that gets played like just all the time.
Yeah.
Is when Sonny's outside the bank screaming at Attica, and it's just oh man, it's just like and then when he's just again that whole scene, I can't explain it. Again, I like how what we said about Serpico, how like that whole film we can't explain how good Pacino is in that film. That's that, but with this one scene, I can't explain
how he's as good as he is.
Yeah, it's just...
Well, because as it was happening, I imagined it kind of it threw me into this state of mind of being in the eyes of another actor who was on set that day, or like an extra, or someone who's trying to get into the acting business or whatever. Just they'd got a role as an extra in this one scene. They're just watching Pacino like, oh my god, that guy is doing amazing.
You can tell
he is incredible.
You can tell he was theatre first within this film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fun fact: what I learned, him and John Cazale came up with each other within theatre. So that's how they knew each other.
Oh, right, okay.
They were both theatre practitioners within New York around the same time. John Cazale was 5 years older than Pacino, and Pacino looked, as numerous times said that John Cazale was a mentor figure to him, as well as like a big brother role to him.
Oh, that's lovely.
But you can tell, like, in that like moment, like, yeah, Pacino was definitely using his theatre skills there. And you could tell Lumet was a theatre practitioner in that moment, like how he just let it happen.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he had to rein it in with Pacino at any point.
No.
It does feel like he just went kind of like, let loose, do what you want, sort of thing. Like, there's a bit in that, I'm sure it's that scene, where he ends up he turns around and kicks the door.
Yes, it is that
for
bit.
no reason.
Yeah.
And then turns around again and comes back to the crowd and stuff. And you can tell he's improvising it as he goes.
It's when he's shouting for the officers to put the guns down.
Yeah.
And he say, "Put the guns." Oh, again, that I can't. I'm not even going to impersonate it. I'm not even going to do it because I'll just look like a tit. Just you need.
Are you saving your one impersonation this week for later on then?
I don't know what I could do.
You've got to do one.
I mean,
you've got to do one.
It'll happen naturally. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's like a fucking, like, again, that scene. Like, if you're not hooked on that scene, if you're not hooked on that film up until that scene, and that scene doesn't hook you, you're not gonna like the film. That's straight up.
No, it's not for you.
And I don't know how you couldn't. I don't know how you. It's so raw. And that's the thing that I've been saying a lot within these 70s films that we've been talking about. Like, it's just so raw. But, like, this is the most raw film I think we've talked about. Like, overall.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think, like you were saying, that lack of score, the way it's shot, the more private, personal moments with the close-ups, the way that Sidney Lumet is quite obviously a theatre guy, just lets his actors kind of go. It feels really natural. They're clearly improvising some bits of it. It's very real world, and I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah. Go on then, I'll let you read some notes and we'll meet up to that scene.
Right. Here we go. So, I put... My first note was I'm nervous, because you told me not to look at anything, and I was like, why would he tell me not to look at anything? I was thinking, like, this is going to go somewhere where I'm not expecting. And it did. You were right.
But not a From Dusk Till Dawn situation.
Not a From Dusk Till Dawn situation. There was no vampires or anything. I put, oh my god, yes, Elton John.
Yeah.
Because as you know, big Elton John fan. I'm sat on an Elton John t-shirt as we speak, actually. I should probably put that away, or I'm going to have to iron it again.
I was going to freak out there because I thought you were going to say, I'm sat on an Elton John vinyl. I was going to be like, why are you doing that, Robbie?
Why would you do that?
Why would you sit on a vinyl, you maniac?
No, I'm very jealous of my friend Dylan, who's got a Goodbye Yellow Brick Road vinyl, and it's yellow, so that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
But just with that opening montage and stuff, I put it already has so much style. Like, it has so much character and style just from using an Elton John song over the top of New Yorkers doing their day and everything. It's very good. It's very, very, very good.
One thing I thought about in this film, I thought from watching this film and Serpico, and even remembering stuff from 12 Angry Men, I'm just thinking, because Lumet was a New York native, and I found an article about when he adamantly chose to stay in New York and not move to Hollywood to stick with a film career in New York. And I thought to myself, you know what? There's no two directors better at New York than him and Woody Allen.
No.
And two different types of New Yorks as well. But I think just like in terms of directors overall who just get a New York vibe, it's just, I think it's those two really. Yeah, that opening I think really solidifies that with Sidney Lumet, definitely.
Oh yeah, because I mean, there's a roughness to it. It's not like, I mean, trust me to bring it back to the Spider-Man Raimi trilogy, but in that one, it's always like, oh, you know, we're all New York and we stick together, and you mess with the bulls, you get the horn or whatever, and all that stuff. And that, I guess, yeah, that's kind of New York, but it's not. It's more of a Hollywood fantasized version of New York. Whereas this and Woody Allen stuff, it's like that is what I imagine it's like.
And I like Scorsese's New York, but he definitely takes a much different approach to when he does it.
Yeah.
But when I think of a New York feel, I think of Woody Allen and Sidney Lumet, like especially now, like after watching Serpico and Dog Day Afternoon 2 weeks in a row, it's just
100%. I put Stevie was great. I really liked that whole bit when Al Pacino was like, "Fine, leave," and he's like, "Don't take the car." He's like, "Well, how am I meant to get home?" He's like, "Take the subway."
Yeah,
I need the car.
And then he runs back,
and then he starts walking out. He's like, "Stevie, the keys."
Yeah, and then he runs back and goes like, "It's like, Sonny, Stevie, what do you want?" There's a girl hiding on the desk, and it's.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, I thought, I want to know that guy's story, because how was the absolute doofus involved in any way? Yeah. How did that kid get involved and roped up in that? It's so weird. And he's never mentioned again. No. He never shows up again later in the story.
Again, that's, like, what happened? Like, what was his thoughts when he was watching that on the news? Like, what was he? Like,
yeah, exactly. He was like, Jesus, that could have been me.
Yeah, you're like, God, I mean... I'm glad I call that shit.
I wonder if he ever actually got, like, caught and put with affiliation and all that kind of stuff. I don't know.
I'm not sure if it...
But,
no, I guess he could get some charges for being in on it.
Yeah, he could get done for like accessory to whatever, and he still pointed the gun at the thingy at first. Yeah, he pointed the gun at the guard.
Yeah, he could probably get done for armed threats or something like that, but he probably couldn't get done for much. But I don't know.
No, but I put about you learn enough about Sonny.
The fact he worked in a bank.
Yeah, exactly. You find out that he works in a bank because he knows how it works, and it's never explicitly said that he was a soldier. He says that he fought in Vietnam, but you can't tell if he's lying. It sounds like he's joking at first, and then later on when he's writing his will, which almost brought me to tears, he's saying that he wants a military funeral because he's earned it. And he should get it for free because he's earned it.
I think because I'm
thinking, well, was he actually in the military?
And he's teaching that cashier how to do the gun thing. So I do believe that he was in Nam probably.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because it's so that's how I like how his character's written. He's not overtly mysterious. No. You're not like, ooh, what an interesting character. His backstory is such a mystery. It's not that.
No, yeah.
Because you know enough.
Yeah, we don't
about
him. We don't when you meet someone in real life, they don't rattle off everything about them.
Exactly.
But they're also not like, oh, let me just hide who I really am from you. I mean, some people might be, you know what I mean? Someone like that isn't just gonna be like, you know, he's especially Sonny, who's a bit of a loud mouth, especially when he gets comfortable. You know, he's gonna say enough to where you understand him, but you're not gonna immediately he's not gonna you're not gonna know what he did in school.
Yeah.
And a link to that, I love because a note that I have, which is my next note, literally after that, is cut under Sonny's parents is an amazing way to humanize him. Again, it's little moments like that, just immediately he's a dude, he's a guy. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. He's just a bloke, and he's quite a good bloke. When you get to know him more and you see how he is with everyone in the bank, he's a nice guy. He's not a horrible person.
Yeah, he's trying to make it as harmless as possibly can.
Yeah, exactly. I put that like you said, the long sweeping tracking shots chasing Pacino around are brilliant.
I love as well.
They're so good.
the more intense things are, the shakier it is as well, which is like it's common knowledge, it's common thing to do that. It's a thing. If you're setting up a camera thing, it's camera 101. It's like, oh, when it's calm, we're gonna have it smooth and steady. When it's hectic, we're gonna have a handheld and mental. It's just, but it's like it's a smart thing to do. It does convey a feeling.
Yeah, it's like the Born Identity School of Action scenes.
Yeah.
Just do that, just flip about and stuff and just shake it. You'll be fine, no one will notice that it's bad choreography. But in this film, it's not.
No.
It's all really well done, and it's like, it's just a nice little touch to add to the intensity, and it's like, really good camera movements all around. I don't know what this was in reference to, but I just put this is fucking brilliant. Oh, I do know. It was the bit when they were in the vault and they were saying they needed a wee.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Oh, that's good shit.
And I put something which I wrote this down once the police had got there, and it was when Al Pacino was like, fuck, and then I was going to call him Fredo. John Cazale goes against Sal, goes against the wall and slides down it, and he's like got his head in his hands and stuff. I just wrote down like, this is so modern.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a modern film.
Yeah.
Like, this could just come out like next week.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not obviously not at the minute, but it could have come out this year or next year, and you'd be like, yeah, this fits.
Yeah.
Like, it's the way that the way that it's written, the way the characters are. It literally, it's such a modern film for coming out in 1975.
But it's also so inherently 70s as well. It's that weird, like, in between. Like, it's so, like, it's such a 70s feeling film. But you are right. It is so modern as well. It's like, it's timeless.
In its writing, I think, it's like, I hate the way this is slung around. This has been slung around so much since The Last Jedi came out. But the idea of subverting expectations, it does a lot of that. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a very modern filmmaking technique, but there's a lot of that in this movie, of subverting what you'd expect in the way that it starts and the way that heists in films usually go and all that kind of thing. It's like really modern in that sense.
Like, I think it's like Nolan kind of redefined a heist within our generation, within doing that opening to The Dark Knight, and then he did a whole heist film which was Inception, and he kind of like re-established a heist in today's filmmaking, where we all now think heists are kind of like this smooth operation, everything goes right thing, and that's cool to watch, and I love those, and I love Inception, and I love that opening of The Dark Knight and stuff, but I also love the fact how we got like I think we're getting back into that field of mind where I think people are getting more interested in seeing shit go wrong.
Exactly.
And I think, especially Dog Day Afternoon, that's like
I think my favourite part of Baby Driver, which would be my favourite heist film to have come out in a lot of years. Yes. But my favourite scene in that movie is the heist where Baby fucks it all up. And he kills, well, spoilers for Baby Driver, but when he kills Jamie Foxx and it all goes around.
Again, that film's a good almost like analysis on the heist film, in the sense of like the film starts off watching these really smooth, like everything goes right heists into the evolution of everything fucks up heists, which I guess is, you can almost look at that film as like the transition into like, I hope we get more films like a heist film within the next few years where just everything goes wrong. Like I'm looking forward to when that happens now.
Because they're more fun. Yeah. As stylish and slick as an Ocean's film or something like that is, it's especially the first one. The other ones are fine.
I haven't seen them.
But like things like this, where it's not, whoa, look how flashy and cool all this stylish and cuts and whoa, this is awesome. It's more grounded and it's more dependent on the characters and you caring about the characters and the way that are they going to get out of this alive and all that kind of thing. I like that a lot more, I think.
Again, and also what I love, it's a heist film where Because when we think heist films, when people think heist films, they think in the bank, get the bank, out, car chase. Yeah. We don't get that far. It's immediately in the bank, and then they're in the bank, and
that's it.
Yeah, which is great. They didn't even get far enough to get in a car.
No, exactly. Like, it's not. I wouldn't even go as far as to call this a heist film. Because it's not really.
No, it's a heist film in just what it is. Because it's just like it starts off like.
Yeah.
They're attempting a bank heist. It's a heist film by technicality, but in terms of terms of the structure, if you look at like the structure and formulas of a heist film, it isn't a heist film at all. It's almost like a stranded film, like just like.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a bottle episode of a TV show.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah.
It's very much like that. But I put in reference to that scene where he's barricading the door with the bank manager, I put that it's another radically different character for Pacino playing, because he's not. This character it's not Michael Corleone.
No.
And he's definitely not Frank Serpico.
No.
It's another completely different kind of like funny and nice, but also he's trying to balance everything at once and kind of losing his shit.
The man did.
He's not.
He went Godfather Part 1. The next year, Serpico. The next year, Godfather Part 2. The next year, Dog Day Afternoon.
Amazing.
I genuinely this reaffirmed my thoughts about it. I can't the 70s just was Pacino's decade.
Yeah.
Like in those 4 years in a fucking row, I can't think of another actor who's done that. No. Maybe Gyllenhaal within recent years. He had a good few runs like year after year, but he did like Prisoners and Enemy and Nightcrawler, but that's incredibly rare for an actor just to fucking just like
nail it one after another
in completely, as you say, completely different roles. Even the two Michael Corleones, two completely different ones as well. Right?
Going from Godfather to Godfather Part 2, Michael's a completely different character, and he's again a completely different character to Sonny in this movie, where Michael Corleone is calm and calculated, and you know that there's anger within him, but it's like deep within him, and he can let it out if he wants to, but he chooses not to. This movie is a guy completely making it up as he goes and completely lost in what he's meant to be doing, and I've really enjoyed him in this role. I cannot imagine anyone else doing this as well as he does.
And honestly,
no one.
I know
else.
there is a casting thing in the trivia. There is a casting thing in the trivia, which is very interesting. But yeah.
Right. Okay. I put my next note was, fuck, that was intense. Which was for when he was handing over the guard. When he was handing over the first hostage, and the guy starts getting chased down by the police and a gun put to him and stuff, and I was like, no, he's not. He's a hostage. Leave him alone. I was getting real nervous.
And Moretti, which I've got a note here. I forgot the actor's name. Hang on. Charles Durnin as Moretti. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, he's really
good. Yeah.
I really enjoyed him. I put, like we were saying before, look at this powerhouse performance of when he's just running that crowd. It's so good. And then I put, what was he chanting?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't work it out. For
the longest time, I feel so stupid. For the longest time, I thought he was saying Anarcha.
Right.
Like anarchy, but he just was missing the Y. For years, I thought he was shouting Anarcha, but he's shouting Attica, which... Did you say you did some...
I did a Google of what I could find, of what I could hear, and I can't remember what I actually Googled in the end, but it just gave me a dance and performing arts school in New York, which confused me. Right. So, if you could shed any light on that.
Attica is a place in Athens, Greece.
Right.
I don't think that's what he was referencing, though. It was also... I feel like it was... I think throughout time, it's now just associated with just a chant for, a revolution, but through that film. But I think in 1971, again, I haven't looked this up. In 1971, there was an Attica police prison uprising.
Right.
So, which, again, happened in 1971. So I have a feeling that's in reference to that in the sense of, like, rise up against the police force.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
Which makes the most sense out of everything that I saw. But there's no direct connection to that, like, of what Pacino said in that moment to the whole film. But that's what I can gather is that's just a pure reference to Uprising. And since that moment in that film, it's just associated with a chant for revolution.
Okay. Right, I see.
That's what that is.
I was going to say, because I was quite confused as to what he meant by that. But that makes a lot of sense when the crowds are, start getting behind him and all that kind of stuff, and he starts getting his confidence up, which I loved so much. Like, I loved seeing that. It, like, it's again, like, when people, and I'm not trying to be a dick, because I quite liked Joker, but when people are like, oh,
yeah.
Like, people are going, oh my god, Joker's so, like, original and so edgy and stuff. It's great. I really enjoyed it. But the stuff that it's done has been done before.
I'm in the same boat as you completely, Robbie. I like Joker a lot. It's fourth favourite Batman film. Favourite.
Yeah.
I think where Joker shines a lot is that it's a really good Joker story, but it's not it's in that sense, it's really fucking good. I'd never claimed it as what I never think it's like a great achievement in cinema like a lot of people seem to do. And I think it does borrow a lot from, I mean, a lot of people are quick to jump on, oh, it's like Scorsese. I'm like, I mean, it kind of,
but not really.
I mean, if anything, from these past two films, I think you can say Todd Phillips gets a lot from Lumet.
Yeah.
I mean, and also 70s Scorsese. Just general 70s filmmaking. I think just a lot of 70s films do a lot of what Joker is trying to do, but better, I think.
Yeah, because I made a note in this part, which is the last note I'll do before I pass it back to you. But when he's getting the crowds behind him and stuff, I was like, what if instead of doing Taxi Driver and King of Comedy and stuff, what if they'd use this as inspiration for the Joker movie? Where
that would have been mint.
A guy goes in, robs a bank, and then the whole world comes in, and the whole world's now watching, and this guy just slowly loses himself to the crowds and stuff and try and put on a performance, and slowly becomes the Joker. That'd be so cool. I thought about it like halfway through that. That's so awesome.
Like instead of the ending that we did get in Dog Day Afternoon, we got like the ending of Joker. But
yeah,
I think like if you match that ending of Joker with if those are the events, that could have been really cool.
Yeah, like it's the events of this movie, and then the last thing that he wants isn't a jet to get away. It's because he's got all this stuff behind him, is that he wants to go on a talk show, and he gets on, and then he pops a guy in the head and speaks to the people, and that's the end of the movie.
Like you mix like Dog Day Afternoon with King of Comedy or something. That would have been a
that'd be so cool.
Sidney Lumet unintentionally made an incredible Batman film with Serpico and an incredible Joker film with Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Of course, we thought about that.
Yeah, of course we thought it. Obviously, of course we did.
But honestly, if they were doing serious Batman in the 70s, Lumet probably would have been the perfect director.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, completely agree with
you. But yeah, my next point is events that are still within that Attica scene, but not too much. I got here in quotes, girls. I was interviewed, and I got here and then this clicked for me. I got media can change anyone's mindset on a situation, including the ones involved.
Yeah.
And this is one thing I immediately thought. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't realize. I never clicked with me. This is a beautiful commentary on media perception.
Yeah.
And again, it's that moment where like. And I got my next point here is Sonny is now a counterculture spokesperson, and and the cashier is now like a big old sassy woman now.
Yeah, completely by accident.
Yeah, and all because of news cameras.
Yeah, I loved that bit. You know, when he's saying, when the guy asks why is he doing it, and he's like, well, because if you want to get a job, you have to be part of a union, and some of us can't get to be able to be part of a union. And the guy's like, yeah, but what about a non-union job? And then he goes on, he's saying, well, if you're not in a non-union job, you don't get paid enough. How much do you guys get? Asking the bank tellers, and he's like, about 100. And then he answers it himself because, as we know, he used to work at a bank. He's like, about 150 a month. That's not enough, and all this. And he just suddenly becomes this political speaker out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's like, because if you look at that transition from all the characters in the bank until the first time he goes outside with, and I need to look up. I need to look up that woman's name because she plays a relatively pivotal part in the film. At least,
yeah, she does. Yeah,
Penelope Allen. Her character is Sylvia.
Right.
Penelope Allen is the actress. When they're outside. Because when they're inside, he's all panicky and scared and worried, and they're all like, again, panicky, scared, and worried, and they just want to get smooth everything. He's out there, and immediately he's like, again, screaming Attica, trying to be like a revolutionary person. And then like when she's getting interviewed and all that, and then Moretti is like, come on, tries to take her with him, and she's like, oh no, I'm going back in. He's like, well, you may as well stay out. And she goes, that's my girls. I'm not leaving them. And then she gives them a wave and everything. It's like, just a complete 180. And she walks in and goes, girls, I was just interviewed. And it's like, the entire mood's changed. Now the camera's on this situation.
Yeah, and everyone in there, the hostages and Sonny, all just kind of become mates for a bit. And the girls start having actually kind of a good time with it. With what it is, because they're not scared of being hurt at all.
And Sal and the bank manager are the only people that kind of still in that situation.
Yeah, still taking it very seriously.
Because it's like the bank man, it's his bank, and he's like, oh, fucking hell, this is like a mess. And then Sal's like, part of the heist. He's like, this is a mess.
Yeah, he's horrified. Understandably.
Yeah. I'm skipping bits here because, again, kind of like Serpico, I just sat and just enjoyed this film.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't like,
me too.
There wasn't a lot of pausing and taking notes. I was just enjoying everything that was happening within this film. So this is a bit further on. When Sonny fires the gunshot in the bank, that quick cut editing is just chock full of adrenaline. Like, it's just like... And again, Dede Allen, man, I need to look more stuff of what she's done.
Did you say it was Dede Allen again? I didn't realise. I didn't see that in the credits.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed in the credits. It's Dede Allen once again who edited this film.
She is excellent. She's so good.
I like Thelma Schumacher, who is Scorsese's editor. A lot, and I need to look more stuff of what she's done and pay attention to like how it's edited. Yeah, because man, like again. She knows when to cut and what to cut to. It's that bit. It's the quick cut of like bang, and then like everyone's like, it's not even a second on people drawing guns to everyone going into the vault to Pacino legging it to then cutting back to them being in the vault to a woman fainting to just, and it's like just all sorts of hectic.
Because the edits kind of move outwards, so it goes from like the gunshot happens, Pacino running. The bank vault, woman faints, police move, further out, crowd moves. Like, it's so
And
good.
again, and again, the glide, but it's a shake glide. Like when Pacino's running and it's a glide, or like it's at least steady. No, it wouldn't be a steady cam because I think Kubrick kind of like pseudo invented the steady cam.
It was the guy. It was the guy that did the Steadicam stuff for The Shining and invented the Steadicam. Yeah. Yeah,
so it wouldn't have been a Steadicam, but they clearly were doing a glide, but it was getting shook. It was getting shook as it was happening. It's just, again, obvious little camera things, but it works so effectively. And that scene as well where Moretti is like, "Why did you fire a gun?" And it's like, "You know why?" He goes, "I don't." He goes, "Well, what's that?" And then it's just so.
And it's like, what the fuck's happening around the back? And then Moretti's like, I don't know what's happening around the back. They're going against my orders and all this.
God bless Moretti. I don't envy the man.
Oh my God. He was trying so hard. I really loved his character, like a lot.
I kind of got a bit sad when it got handed to the FBI guy because I'm like, oh no,
So
Moretti.
did I.
Because I'm like, because you know
guy,
the conversation would have happened with Moretti. It's like, you're not advancing further enough. Move aside, Moretti.
Yeah.
You know that would have been the conversation. It's like, oh, he's been trying.
Yeah, you never see it, but because that it kind of just gets handed off to that agent Sheldon from the FBI, who is really kind of boring. Where I found Moretti to be really charismatic and really cool and could carry a scene very well.
Yes.
Obviously, the guy that's playing Sheldon was very good in the role that he was given, but I thought that the character itself was more deadpan.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of what he was there. He wasn't trying to make a connection with Sonny.
Yeah, he was just trying to get him.
It was like that outright scene there as well, where Sonny's like, well, where's the play? And he goes, no more demands. It's like, turn the power back on. He goes, no more demands, Sonny, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, right, you've been prolonging this far enough.
And the guy that drives him to the airport, I've got a fun fact about, if you'd like to hear it.
Go on then.
So he plays an android in one of the Alien films.
Oh right, yeah.
I think he's in Aliens. I'm pretty sure, because they all have an android guy. You know, it's Bilbo in the first one and whatever.
Lance Hendrickson in the in Aliens.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he that guy was originally in talks to be the Terminator before Arnie, because they were gonna go more for the fact that the Terminator is like a stealth robot and it could be anyone amongst you, and it was just meant to look like a regular guy, and that's who they were gonna get for it. So he could look threatening and stuff, but he'd still look like a regular dude.
They did that with T2.
Yeah. So instead they decided to go for the big muscly blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, fun fact.
Fun fact. Also another fun fact. I don't think it was really that necessary for trivia, but since we're mentioning about aliens and androids and stuff, Lance Hendrickson,
yes,
who played Bishop, was it Bishop in Aliens?
Yes. Yeah.
He auditioned for Leon.
Oh.
Yeah. But they went.
Well, that's really interesting.
But they went with Chris Sarandon, who debut film, his first
film
role,
and is very good.
We'll get to him definitely as well. Yeah. Oscar nominated performance as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I got there. Like, Moretti is also really good. I've just got that there, which is one thing I really like. Because again, I expected Pacino, I expected Cazale, and I was like, but seeing like the Charles Durnan and Pacino, just their dialogues, their piece of dialogue, I'm like, God, it takes two to tango, and really like Moretti, like Charles Durnan is really like holding his own with this as well. Like, he's doing a really good job. I think from what I learned, he's friends with Pacino, and he auditioned for the bank manager,
right?
And then Pacino was surprised he wasn't auditioning for Moretti. So after the audition for the bank manager, Pacino then talked to Lumet and was like, how about why not Moretti?
Yeah.
And then that's like how he got into being Moretti.
Oh, that's great.
Which is pretty neat.
And I'm glad he did, because he's as we were saying, he's very charismatic. He can very easily carry a scene.
It's earlier. It's one of the first scenes with him. It's like he's walking, like kind of like it's an over the shoulder shot of Pacino, and it's like kind of following Moretti.
Oh yeah.
And he's like showing his hands. He's like untucking his shirt. He's taking his blazer off, and he's like, "See, I'm unarmed. Sonny. Just come out here," which I find really amusing because everyone else around him is clearly pointing a gun at him.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, why would he? Yeah, he can see you're fine.
But everyone else is still.
It's like literally, there's people all around there. Yeah. That's another bit in the Attica scene where he's like telling them to get back again, and there's one line where Pacino says where he goes, "Look at him, he's itching to kill me. He's itching to kill me."
Yeah.
Which again, it's just those scenes. I looked forward so much to when Pacino got out of the bank. So I just want to see more Moretti.
Every time there was a Sonny and Moretti scene of them just they kind of just bicker.
Yeah.
It's quite funny.
Yeah.
It's really enjoyable to watch. His short sleeves took me off guard. Moretti having a short sleeve shirt. I was like, what? Lunatic.
Putting your back. What? putting you back to like secondary school.
Yeah, it was real weird.
I
He
wouldn't
took his
dare
blazer
wear
off and then a short sleeve shirt, and I was like, "What?
Yeah.
Weirdo."
I mean, as I'm wearing a short sleeve right now, but I'm not wearing a blazer, so it's fine.
So it's all right for you, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you off.
Cheers, Robbie. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's all right, mate.
Oh yeah, and I didn't note it down, but man, the reveal of Leon,
Yeah.
iconic.
It's so good.
Because we see his wife,
Yeah.
and we're like, okay then,
Yeah.
this is right. And then the car's pulling up. We're hearing, "Oh, your wife's coming,"
And then this
Leon
guy
gets
stands
out,
up. Yeah.
and it's like, what? And then they're like, and then I think Moretti's like, "What's this?" And go, "This was the address that he gave us."
Yeah, and then it's like this guy claims to be his wife.
But I
He
also
says they got married in a church.
Yeah, but I also love they're not like, there's like it's, especially for this time, I love the way they handle the LGBT aspect of it. They're not saying, "Oh, who's this F word that I won't say on this show?"
Yeah.
Or like, they're not using any slurs about it, or they're not like, "Wait, what, Sonny's gay?"
Yeah, like
They
there's one cop that sniggers in the background of one of the scenes.
Yeah.
But that's it.
And there's also like obviously the crowds.
Yeah.
But it also gets balanced when there's members of the gay community there as well.
Mm.
Which again, I think it's might be one of the best interpretations of LGBT.
Well, my sister actively cheered when the LGBT guys came in with the signs.
Yeah.
And all their chanting and stuff. She actively cheered when it happened. She was very happy about it.
And again, I'm speaking of this as a straight male. So I am not a part of the community, but I am a very avid supporter of the community. So I'm speaking of that side of things. I just thought, especially for the mid-70s, like, I just feel like it's such a powerful way to handle it all.
100%.
And I got in here like Leon in the Barbers, and I got Sidney Lumet was a filmmaker who tackled stories way ahead of its time. This and Serpico have aged beautifully and are incredibly relevant now.
Yeah.
Like, and I genuinely think you could slap this film on to, I mean, you slap this film on to anyone of this generation, and it will resonate in some way. Or it will gain a reaction out of in some way. And again, back to the point there, but I just love how it's like he's out there, and they're not making a point that's like, "Wait, so you're gay?
Yeah.
Wait, hang on a minute, you like men? What?"
Yeah. There's nothing
Hang
of
on
it.
a minute. There's a moment between his wife and when they're on the phone, which again, that whole phone call sequence, we'll get to it, but where they're like I think she says it, or someone. Oh no, it's his mother. It's his mum who says it. Where it's like, is she really not that good? Where you have to marry a man,
Yeah.
or something. But again, that's not even necessarily. I mean, it's a bit derogatory, but it's almost like, I don't know.
It's not though, really.
It still doesn't. It's more of a question of like, why aren't you happy with her, as opposed to like, how could you marry a man? Like, that's what that is. And I love, like, in the news thing, they're like reporting it, and they're like, they're really reporting the fact that he's gay, but it would have been at that point. But they're also showing like, it's like, yep, and here's the photos of Leon in his wedding gown. But they're not saying it like, and then here's this one.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's just like they're saying the facts with it. Oh no, I just really, really like that about it.
I really enjoyed the fact that I thought it was quite. It wasn't. It was telling of the time, but it was a very realistic interpretation of the time, with John Cazale's reaction to the TV. When he says they're saying that there's two gay men robbing the bank. I'm not gay, and all this kind of stuff, which he's not. I liked the fact that he wasn't bothered that Sonny was, because I'm guessing he already knew. He was more weirded out by the idea of people thinking he was.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to say as well. Like, thinking about there, that's another brilliant bit of like world building. Again, it takes place within the phone call, but we'll get to that as well.
Yeah.
I keep saying that, but it's when Sonny's talking to Leon about Sal, and then Leon makes a comment like, "Oh, well, it's like, oh, I mean, what made you think about bringing Sal along to that?" Or something like in a jokingly manner. It's like you could instantly see, oh, so they all probably mates.
Yeah.
They all know, like, that's immediately growing that social within small comments like that. It's like, oh, the social circle's grown.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's almost nice in the sense, like, again, like, yeah, you probably know that, like, Sal probably knows about it because he probably knows about Leon.
Yeah.
And is talking to Leon, and he's fine with that's the case.
Yeah, like, it's another example of it just being an incredibly tight script where there isn't a wasted line, and the lines that are used tell you just enough. So that not only do you, like, know just enough about Sonny's character where he feels like a real three-dimensional character, but also you now are starting to get, just from a few little lines scattered throughout, get an idea of the world before they were at this bank robbery, what they actually do in their own lives, how all that works. Like, it's so well written and so precise, I think would be the word to use with it.
I'm looking at Frank Pearson's filmography, who was the screenwriter for this film. He was also the writer for Cool Hand Luke.
Right.
And he also wrote and directed the 1976 A Star Is Born.
Oh.
So, and yeah. Oh, and he wrote one episode of Mad Men.
Very nice.
Which is interesting. But yeah, like, it's like, that's yeah, you're right. Like, it's just so tight script wise. And again, my end note is the pacing is once again phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, it's 2 hours and 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
It's a bit over 2 hours. Once we were, because I knew the series of events, and once we got to the point where they were approaching the bus being there,
yeah,
my instant thought was like, wait, are we near the end already? And I checked the time. I was like, holy fuck, we are.
Yeah.
I didn't realize like how far ahead I was in the film.
Because it's another one that just moves at a clip, just like Serpico did.
Mate, Lumet might be the best at pacing.
Yeah.
So far.
So far, I'd say so, yeah.
Again, I love Coppola's slow-paced stuff, but, you know, sometimes I need, like, a bit of a tightly moved film. And, mate, yeah, definitely. But that scene when Leon's in the barbers and they're talking to Leon, that's the moment, I think, when you said about how you could hear someone snicker in the back.
Yeah, there's one guy, that's laughing. And you can see him in the shot as well, at the back of the shot.
Yeah.
Everyone else is taking it quite seriously, but there's just that one guy, which I think is very realistic of how it probably would have been.
Yeah, because I'm not being funny. I would have questioned it if this storyline was in the film and if, like, everyone was all right with it. I would have questioned the authenticity, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also like how Lumet's clearly not a homophobic person.
Mm-hmm.
Because he tackled this story with great respect, I think.
Yeah. And there's even there's reference to the treatment of the homosexual community in Serpico. There was another thing about it.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Yeah. But I don't know much about Lumet's personal life. Watch me find out he is gay. Watch me find that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing you on about there about the shot, how like the guy's in shot.
Yeah.
I love the fact, I forgot which scene it was. I think it's the bit where I honestly can't remember. It might have been when Sonny's on the phone to the news people, and they make an effort to frame. And again, as we know, being a cinematographer on a project, and me being a director for a project, fine well, like everything in a shot has to mean something. Like, nothing's accidental.
Yeah.
Especially when it involves other actors in frame.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a big thing. Like, if you're doing a film, no director is like, just if you get the actor in shot, whatever. No, there needs to be there's a reason why you got an actor in shot. It's the bit where Sonny's on the phone and you can see slightly out focus in the back, and she's the only one there. I think it's Sylvia waving.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
See,
yeah.
I didn't see that.
Like, it's one thing, because I saw her in the back. I was like, I love that. Because it's, once again shown, like, they're just, like, media can get any form of media. Once cameras are rolling, people are going to want their piece.
Yeah.
They want to be there. One thing I just remembered as well, which is early on in the film, which is another small moment, which I like a lot, which I think you probably liked as well.
Yeah.
Where, I forgot the name. The girl who was hiding under the desk when she was on the phone.
Yeah.
When her husband rang the bank,
Yeah.
and then like and then Sonny was like, "Hey, it's you. It's your husband." And then she like stops for a minute and goes, "He wants to know when you'll be done."
Yeah, and he's like,
I don't know. And then she's like, "Oh, just make food, just make dinner." Just do it. I love how her husband called the bank and be like, "Yeah, when's the heist gonna be over so I can make you dinner?"
Like, and it's the fact that Pacino's really subtle about it as well with his reaction. Like, he doesn't flip out on her. He just kind of goes like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, I've got a lot more difficult things to worry about. Yeah, he's not like smashing the phone or anything. He's like, And then it gets to the point where she's just chatting to him. He's like, all right, you had enough. Like, all right, come on.
Yeah, like that's what I meant about just that kind of finding the mundane in this ridiculous situation. It's so funny, and I love that style of writing so much.
I feel like all the girls got established characters with such little moments as well.
Yeah, they did. Like the woman that's just kind of for the beginning of it, she's just chewing all the time.
She's great.
But she's got a right little personality, but she never really has any lines of dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the moment as well where the bank manager comes out, he apologises for his foul use of language. And then they say, "What did he say?" And then they whisper, and then the old woman goes like, "Well, I'm a Christian and my ears aren't dumpsters," or something like that. And she just walks out and they all just start laughing. I'm like, you can totally tell, like,
yeah,
it's almost as if like it's a sitcom cast, like a sitcom that takes place in a bank, but then a heist happens.
Yeah,
like that's almost these character dynamics. They're almost sitcom characters, but just got wrapped up in this absolute insane situation.
Yeah.
And I got here noted down in quotes, 2 homosexual men are holding up the bank. I got media are quick to jump the blame on a group of people, which again, they didn't outright say like these filthy homosexuals or whatever they could have said or whatever.
Yeah.
They outright just said like, 2 homosexual men, like immediately saying like two, like the gay community are doing this. Like that's almost immediately what they're doing.
When like A, it's only one, and B, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's exactly exactly the point. As soon as like Leon walks out, and they're like the immediate story is like he's gay, make that the thing. And that's the thing even nowadays. Like media loves trying to find out people's sexuality and relationship status. Like they love that shit.
To jump to something is what it's for. Is to jump to a conclusion and have someone to blame for it.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. They need something. They're almost looking at it like, right, he's not black, we can't do that. That's almost kind of what they, and it's like, right, we don't know his religion, so we can't say a Jew's doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's that's almost like it's like he's gay. That was sell shit. Like that's almost like what that is. I mean, a big example in terms of like people so interested in personal drama. Again, that's what it became more about the fact that he's gay as opposed to like, a heist is still happening.
Yeah, there's hostages still in there.
Yeah, and a big example, especially in recent days, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. I'm seeing loads of videos about just people, just fucking cameras on like this fucking courts thing. It's mental. Like, and it again, timely. The film is immensely timely and relevant within LGBT and media. It's somehow killed two birds with one stone, and the film isn't even about those two things. The film's about this heist.
Yeah, and it's 45 years old.
I know.
It's insane.
Yeah. I'll finish off my page and I'll throw it back to you. I know we may as well talk about. No, you know what? I'll finish that scene and we'll both talk about the phone call, because that's my next note. We'll make that a joint thing to talk about. So
cool.
There you go.
I put John Cazale man with four sad faces. It was the bit when they're saying, you know, we're gonna leave in a jet. Do you have anyone to say? Do you want to say bye to anyone, anything like that? And John Cazale just really offhandedly just like, no. It really hurt, but but you learn a lot about his character from that as well. He's kind of shut-in recluse kind of weirdo guy.
He's the perfect balance to Sonny.
Yeah,
like I've heard someone say like Cazale is the perfect quiet to Pacino's loud.
Yeah, I'd agree with that
in this film.
100%. Yeah. And I put I love where this is going.
But I love how like Sonny is quiet with Sal.
Yeah.
Like I love how like when they're talking, they're like just, and then the small moments of when they're talking to each other, you can see them just having a beer.
Yeah, you can tell that they've been mates for a long time because it's like Sonny knows how to act and what will make Sal comfortable.
I love how like he's trying to be smart, and like the thing about like early on in the heist where it's like, if I bark he bites.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like you eventually learn that's obviously not the case.
It's not the case at all.
I mean, he would, but that's not the dynamic. And like the moments of just like general like small talk.
Yeah.
It's just like nice, calm chats with them. It does make me kind of like, I would love to know more about that character dynamic. But that's like, I wouldn't want like a spin-off film. I mean, we
no,
never
exactly.
get it now anyway. But that's what a great film does. I think like great characters do. Makes you want to think about them outside of what you're watching.
Yeah, like Sal has this scene which I haven't noted down, but the you know when he's talking to the woman about smoking. That's such a good showing of what his character's actually like. Yeah. He's like, because she's like, "Do you smoke?" He's like, "No." Why not? I don't want the cancer, and all this, and then I can't remember what he says to her on the way out. Yeah, but he's like, "No, it's because you're an idiot," or something like that. Just as he's walking, but he says it under his breath so that she can't hear him because deep down he is kind of a nervous guy.
Yeah, he doesn't want to
upset people.
He doesn't want to upset people, but he's kind of like, yeah, well, but
yeah, exactly. Which I loved a lot. I put about the woman playing Sonny's wife. I thought was really funny.
Good. Yeah.
Because the entire idea of the character is that she's real fucking annoying and doesn't shut up. Mm-hmm. But she was very good at that. Sometimes that can happen and be an incredibly irritating character who you just want off screen straight away as soon as they're on. But she played it really well and was still endearing and charming with it.
I kind of found her sympathetic at times as well.
Exactly, because you felt really sorry for her. Obviously, she couldn't see how Sonny would ever do something like this. But then she's saying about how recently he'd been getting more distressed and all this kind of thing.
She brings up the caterpillar ride twice.
Yeah, that must have really been a bad ride for her, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, you do feel sympathetic towards her. Definitely.
But that's real as well. Like I love because I find it so fucking cliched. If it's gonna be a thing about she could have the character could have very well have said, "Oh, when you got drunk and smashed the glass and hit me," or something like that. Yeah, but it's just you shouted at me at a theme park ride, and I didn't want to go on the ride, but you got annoyed at me. It's like you can see that happening with anyone. He was probably she was probably doing his head in at all. He probably didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And the kids were probably, I want to go on the ride. And he's like, I don't want to do that. And she was like, I don't like that. I wouldn't like to do that. And the kids probably got upset. And he was like, and he probably just got upset.
Yeah.
That he was getting annoyed at them probably. He was like, just get on the ride. Just go with them. It's like, you can see that happen. And it's just really fucking good, I think. Again, we're talking about a situation that was very much glossed over. And that's just good shit.
And that's
just good stuff.
The bit when she's talking about him shouting at the kids, I took later on, because at first I took that as like, what's going on with him? Because that like shouting at the wife, as you were saying, that's something that can just happen. But shouting at the kids and having a go at them and stuff, I thought like, well, there's got to be something that was actually going on. And when you find out about Leon, and that I mean, it could be just, my interpretation of it, but the way I saw it was that he's obviously a closeted homosexual because of him having a wife and kids, when in actuality seeing Leon and all that kind of stuff. And it's like having kids with a woman when he is actually homosexual.
Yeah. That's
got to be a perfect representation of him lying to himself.
Yes.
Is what the kids have got to represent to him.
Yes.
So when you learn more about the character, I think that's a really nice setup for something later on.
Yeah. What's also what I find interesting, what you could also look deeper in that, because I looked at the age of the actual John. Hang on, I had to look at how to pronounce his last name because he's Sonny, but his name is John Watowitz.
Right.
He was 27 when this happened in real life.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at that, and if you look at the kids, they're not babies.
No.
So he would have had to marry and had kids. He would have been a young dad.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is clearly him trying to get away from the fact that he's gay in the public eye, at least to a lot of people. And also, imagine being a closeted homosexual in a time period where being a homosexual is rough, awful.
Well, it's genuinely illegal at that point. It hadn't been made legal.
And also, you're a young dad. You're in your early 20s and you become a dad.
Yeah.
And you shit on money as well.
Yeah.
That's
which again plays into that theme of classism that's kind of put in your head straight from the opening scene.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Again, subtlety.
It's very subtle in the way that it explores its themes, but there's stuff to definitely It's not like Serpico in that it's subtle, but it's an easy ride and it's just a great film to watch. This one definitely has themes and things that you can look into and look deeper into and analyze.
You could unbox many layers with
this. Yeah, you can pick this film apart, you really could, but it's very subtle in the way that it puts those themes and ideas across, which I really appreciated for a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
I put I put about the editing when the gunshot went off, which we've already talked about, but I put about when Sonny picks up those pizzas and pays for them and goes back inside. It's the pizza guy afterwards.
I'm a fucking star!
I'm a fucking star!
I thought he was generally going to do a backflip. I was expecting the way he was jumping. I was like, go on, do a flip.
I loved it so much. That guy, just as a little bit part. Fucking love it. It's like in any of them Spider-Man films. Like the guy that's like, oh my god, he stole that guy's
pizza. Yeah.
It's like that kind of thing. And I wrote it down. I'm a fucking, without a G, and then star spelled STAHHH. I'm a fucking star.
I loved it. It was brilliant. Yeah.
Really good stuff. And then
again, little character moments. Love it. The driver, the first driver.
Oh man, that point when he says, when Pacino just looks at him and he's like, "Do you think I'm a fucking idiot? Yeah. Get out of the car, cop."
Go for a walk. He goes, "Hey, when you're aiming, don't just make sure you hit white, mate."
Yeah, it's just
there you go. There's my impression for you.
Well done, mate. I'm so proud of you.
To be fair, there's not really anyone I could really do an impersonation of. I mean, I could have done the Attica, but I would have horribly destroyed that.
We've got the one per week. So
Yeah.
well done, everyone. But and then it gets onto the Leon stuff, and I put, the reveal of Sonny being gay is so brilliant, and it's done so well.
What was what was like your live thoughts as that was happening?
I was genuinely in shock.
So Leon gets out the car. What was that thought?
I was like, it was just like a, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because Maddie went, that's his wife. And I was like, no, because I've seen his wife. And that's not her. And then my sister was like, yeah, that's not a her. That's a guy. And I looked and I was like, oh yeah, it is a guy. Wait, what?
You see the stubble, that's what gives it away.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? I was so confused. And then, you see the confusion of the cops, and I was like, okay, so I'm meant to be confused. And then it's when they're talking to him, and then you get the reveal that he's doing it. Well, he's not just doing it for the money for the sex change operation, but that is a factor in why he's doing the heist in the first place. And so many things add up.
Yeah.
Straight away, it's like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. And I was just so impressed. And I can't remember if this happens after the phone call scene, which we'll talk about after this, because this is my last note. I absolutely fucking loved the line of when someone, I can't remember what the question is that's asked to him about the gay stuff, but he just kind of offhandedly goes like, well, you've got to have fun in life. I loved that so much. Like, that is it, and it's the way that Pacino delivered the line.
Yeah.
And it's so good. And my last note here is just that I wrote that this really is a movie of two halves.
Yeah.
Because the first half is that kind of funny, enjoyable heist movie where everything's going wrong.
Yeah.
And it's just a really fun, and it's this guy getting used to the cameras and seeing how the cameras are changing people. It's really fun, moves really quickly. And then as soon as that Leon reveal happens, the rest of the movie just becomes a real character piece.
That's
like
exactly, yeah.
It becomes a real deep and analytical character drama about this guy. And I loved it so much. And the transition into it is so seamless.
Yes.
And it's pretty much as it turns in the movie, as it turns from day to night.
Yeah,
There's a very definitive line between the things that happen in the daytime and the things that happen in the nighttime. And they're two very different portions of the film, but they blend together so well.
Yes.
It's just as you're wanting something to switch up, and for the film to go in another different direction that you want it to, because it's already done so many twists and turns. But it's just at that point where you're going, is this what the rest of this movie is going to be? Just him coming in and out of the bank and talking to the police or whatever?
Yeah.
And just when you need something to switch it up, the whole movie just switches on its head and becomes an entirely different film. And I loved it. I loved it so much.
Yes, definitely.
Brilliant reveal.
Definitely. Right. The phone call scene, we've been building it up because it's just I thought when I was watching it, because I couldn't remember this scene, I remembered the Attica scene, and I thought, well, this is going to be the scene that we...
Yeah.
The phone call thing. There's two parts to the phone call. There's him talking to Leon, then there's Tim talking to his wife after that as well. Which, fucking hell, my point here, I'll say my 2 points, and we can get more, we could just discuss this. Sonny's phone call with Leon got me well emotional. I put that there.
Yeah.
And then I put a point. Just watched Sonny's phone call with his wife. My thought is, if Pacino kept up these types of performances, I would claim him as the best actor of all time.
Yeah. He is incredible in that scene. And my sister, who said she claims to not like Al Pacino, and I said to her, what Al Pacino films have you seen, knowing that she's not a big film fan, and she goes, Scarface, and that's it. And I'm like, well, you haven't really seen Pacino films to make a comment on that. She was so shocked at how good he was in that scene.
what I've heard about Scarface, I've only seen it once, but I've heard a lot of that's a film that gets very misrepresented by certain social groups.
Yeah.
And I need to rewatch it, but I've been hearing a lot lately about people saying if you look at Scarface again, it's a lot darker than you actually fucking remember it, and it's a lot more tragic. Which I need to maybe one day next year or something we do a Scarface
we can have a look
breakdown.
at it. Yeah,
that'd be neat. But yeah, he is like, and that was kind of my point. I wanted, like, when we were doing the intermission, I was like, I want to do Copeland, I want to do Pacino. Like, I knew I wanted to do those 70s things. And doing these 70s Pacino stuff, it reminded me how much of a titan he is as an actor.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I loved him in Irishman. And I mean, but aside from that, I mean, it's a different Pacino. He's just different. But
yeah.
I mean, up until before we were doing the Lumet films, all we'd seen of Pacino lately was just as Michael Corleone, and it didn't really end the greatest. So I was kind of like, okay then. I remember Pacino being good in these films, so let's go. And I love him in Serpico. I still think Serpico's his best performance, although this is a strong second contender, I think, for me personally.
Yeah.
But man, again, it's that phone call scene. You look at that phone call scene, and that's like, that might be the best acting Pacino's ever done in his entire fucking life.
Yeah.
And again,
my sister.
I love the
Sorry,
I just finished that point. I love the "You Broke My Heart" Fredo. I love that scene. Again, that's just chill inducing as well. But oh no, there's just this Pacino in the phone call bit is just a build up.
Yeah.
The scene starts off as like, oh, it's just a phone call with Leon, and then that builds, and then that builds, like emotionally, not like scale wise, just like
just emotionally, the layers start building up.
And then that's done. And you're like, okay. And then his conversation with his wife. And it's like, just again, it's like, that would be an actor's dream to recreate that scene.
Oh, yeah.
That's a theatre performance, that is. That's like something that you, like, tear the fucking house down with that. Like,
yeah. Thing. Like, so, fun thing for any actors that are going to audition for things that me and Oscar are doing in the future at uni. If you do this scene at any point, you're in.
And if you do it well, I'm gonna get you in.
Yeah, you're in it. You're well done.
Because that's like after that scene, that's like pin drop. That's like you can hear that's like you can almost like that's like the air has been sucked out of the fucking room because you've just been holding your breath because you don't want to cry. That's what that is.
Exactly. Yeah, because it really did kind of make me well up, and I was very emotional after it. My sister was incredibly emotional after it, particularly after the Leon section of it. And,
I love how that's his last conversation with Leon.
Yeah,
fucking beautiful.
And it's that bon voyage bit when they actually say goodbye to each other. Oh, God, it's painful.
Yes,
but it's painful in the sense that it's an upsetting talk between these two characters that you care about now because you understand the relationship. But at the same time, it's really quite beautiful.
Do you know what I just realised? I don't think we ever see them in the same shot ever.
No, you don't.
They're never in the same room, are they? No.
No, not at any point, no.
Wow. That's
not even when they're showing the wedding photos. It's just a photo of Leon on his own.
That's you don't even see that.
You don't see them two together getting married, and
yet there's such a strong connection there.
Yeah, but it's just from that one conversation that they have with each other that you see the connection that they have, because it's so that seemed quite improvised to me. I don't know if it was just the way that Lumet directed it.
Trivia is gonna be a blast.
That's exciting.
This is my favorite bit of trivia. This is the trivia that I'm looking forward to the most since we did Apocalypse Now.
Right, okay. Because like it's so natural. It's exactly what two partners would talk to each other like in this situation, and it's really beautiful stuff. And I really enjoyed it.
And then you switch it with his wife.
Yeah, where
and that's
almost
rough as well.
instantly.
That's tragic in another level, I think.
Yeah, like it's almost instantly that it riles up to a point of him getting ridiculously angry and just telling to shut up, and then ending the call.
Yeah.
Like obviously that call with his wife is much shorter than the one with Leon.
Yeah.
Um,
But you get just as much out of it, I think.
Yeah, because the fact that it is so short and that he loses his temper so quickly is so telling of the relationship they have and how he feels about it.
It's a beautiful window into it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and it's one. I want to comment on the cinematography on this scene.
Yeah.
Again, close up on Sonny. Doesn't move
No.
at all. I love when we start with Leon, we're at a very distant shot. And he's visible in the barbers.
Mm.
And then again, the slow glide. It's just,
Yeah.
And then it progressively goes to a close up on Leon.
Yeah.
And then similar to, and what I think I find interesting is like, it does a reverse with his wife, where it's like the phone is in the forefront of her house, and then she comes to the camera.
Yeah.
And then it moves into a close up, I think. But it's like, I find it interesting in the sense of like, I guess you could look at it in the sense of like when Sonny is calling Leon, that he's not moving, but the camera's moving. That Sonny has to go to Leon. That Sonny always goes to Leon, whereas with his wife, she always goes to Sonny.
I'd never even realised that because, like you were saying, the camera movements there are mirrored to each one. It moves in for Leon. It moves. Well, it doesn't move out, but she has to move to it.
Yeah, again, that's the thing
really
I just thought
interesting.
there. But that's again that just thinking about there. That is what happened. And again, as we said, with camera angles and cinematography, nothing's not accidental. Everything
has its purpose.
Yeah, there's a reason why the cinematographer thought about doing that with it, and I do think it's solid stuff. And again, I don't think we can do it justice with that scene.
Exactly. Like, just watch it.
And it works so much with the context of the film itself, I think.
Yeah.
And again,
I
haven't got a note down here, but the will.
Oh my god, that was rough. That bit when he's so prepared to die.
Yeah.
And I, from that moment, I was convinced as well that he was going to just walk out and go out in a blaze of glory and that he'd never get the limo. When he did get the limo, I was still convinced. I was like, Sonny's going to die. I was so convinced.
Mate, that shit's intense when they immediately go into the bus. The limo bus.
The bit that was so intense with that, and it's very obviously a writing trick that they've used to create tension, but it's that Sal keeps bringing the gun down.
Yeah.
Instead of putting it up, and because he says just before they set off, he's like, make sure that gun is pointed up because if we go over a bump, it'll go off. Mm-hmm. And you see him just before they cut away. Every time you see Sal slowly lift the gun down and have to be reminded to put it up again, and it's you're just shitting your pants for the full thing. I was so scared. Yeah. I was so nervous, like properly on edge with it.
Yeah, we'll get to that ending.
Yeah.
Boy, points I want to say before then is I got in quotes that Sonny all the way, and I got again maybe one of the most honest depictions of the media's influence on the public.
Yeah,
Mixed with that and out of the closet into the streets.
Yeah.
Again, like they would have only known about that through news.
Mm-hmm.
And again, instantly, like, and again, a lot of people might look at that and they see a homosexual man who's holding up the bank. So you're going to get groups who are going to be hateful towards that.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see groups who are going to be massively empowered by that.
Because there was the that was a detail that I quite enjoyed, was the whistling and kind of making fun of him.
Oh, when he was frisking the FBI
When he was
agent.
frisking the guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was quite real.
Yeah.
Like, you can imagine that happening just...
Yeah.
Even now, you can imagine that happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if someone knew that someone was gay and they
Yeah.
had that kind of crowd around them for whatever reason, if that was happening, yeah, people would be whistling and being dicks, and because that's people.
I want to say, I just remember there a line that Pacino said. It was just before the Attica line that I just really loved, where Moretti is trying to tell him all this stuff. And then Sonny goes, "Kiss me." He goes,
Yeah.
"What?" He goes, "Kiss me. I'll be kissed when I'm getting fucked."
Yeah, great stuff.
Like that's like a good set of line. That is.
Yeah.
I just love that. But yeah, I love, like, again, such an honest depiction of media, I think.
Yeah.
When the film's not about that.
No, not
Again-
at all.
Again, two of my favourite films about media and like how the media is handled both came out in late 2014, and that's Nightcrawler and Gone Girl. And
Yeah.
those films are very much so about media.
Yes.
But I think this fits beautifully in there as well, about like, this is a very good depiction of like how media influences, but it's not about, we're not following the news crew, which makes me very interested, because in 1976, the year after this film,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but Sidney Lumet did a film called Network, which I've heard's great, which is about like news anchors and stuff, I think.
Right, okay.
Again, it has the line, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore." That's where that comes from.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Again, I want to see it. Haven't seen it, but that makes me like almost watching. You know what? Honest to God, right? You can go from Serpico, and then Serpico can make you really interested to see what else Lumet's done with 70s crime in New York,
Yeah.
to Dog Day Afternoon. And seeing Dog Day Afternoon in the media can immediately get you on to maybe interested. Oh, what did Lumet do further with media?
Yeah.
And then
Network.
go to Network. I'm not sure if that was intentional by Lumet. Probably not. But
Oh, yeah.
he's managed to kind of almost create a nice stream of his filmography.
Yeah, a nice little
Almost.
through line that you can kind of follow as it goes.
I want to throw this out there because I've just looked at what I find just something that I wanted to know for myself before we go on to the final bit of my notes here, which is just about the ending. But I got here, because the film takes place in August 22nd, 1972.
Right.
Again, true story.
Yeah.
Happened. And I got here, Frank Serpico retired in June 15th, 1972. Again, real shit that happened. I would have been very interested. It's one of these little dynamic moments in the sense of like, what if he didn't retire? And it almost creates this extended universe in the sense of like, oh, so this happened 2 months after Serpico retired and all that. Police corruption would have still been a fucking big talking point in.
Yeah.
So when you see people Pacino go, put the guns down, and they're not putting their guns down, it almost creates this extended universe of this New York crime thing in the 70s about like, they would have very well have shot, because I just saw Serpico and they would have just fucked him up.
Yeah, and the idea of when he starts chanting Attica and how easily people get involved and how people get involved shows that, that kind of shows how the people's feelings towards the police at the time.
Yeah.
Which even is still very topical to today in America.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
in a sense, Lumet accidentally created his own cinematic universe.
Yeah.
But
all dealing with some very, very similar social issues that are still prevalent today, making his films incredibly timeless.
Yes. God, I can't wait till we talk next week about 12 Angry Men. And I can't wait I really wanted to get more into his films. He's been someone that I've always wanted to delve more into, because I've always known he's greatly admired by everyone in the industry. I know Scorsese is always like, he's always said, you can't really call yourself an aspiring filmmaker if you don't even know a Sidney Lumet film.
Yeah.
Scorsese's been very adamant about that. About like you're stupid if you're calling yourself an aspiring filmmaker and you haven't even watched a Lumet film. Which again is, I think, and he's also always been known as an actor's director. I know actors have always said like, I love working with him.
Yeah, and you can see that.
Yeah, Sean Connery was a big you know how like De Niro and Scorsese,
Yeah.
Connery and Lumet was a thing for a while.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, and Connery's in The Murder on the Orient Express, the 74 film.
Yeah.
But they did a lot of films, which I haven't seen, but they did a lot
I'd
together, which is
be
interesting.
very interested in seeing the Murder on the Orient Express that he did.
It's good. I like it a lot.
I'd be very interested in watching that. Yeah.
Yeah, but and my final bit of notes are just about the ending because I didn't really write much.
Yeah.
I was just investing myself in it.
Me too.
My final notes are the ending broke my heart, and
Fredo.
I love that there's no, and I love that there's no end credits, credit music.
They just kind of come up on the screen.
It's the sound. Yeah. It's just the sound. But yeah, the ending broke my fucking heart, Rob.
I was so... At first, my first initial reaction to the ending was, that's a bit disappointing and a bit of an anticlimax. But the more I thought about it, I really like the ending. Because it is gutting. It is an absolute gut punch.
Do you know, because I knew the ending going into the film, but what I forgot about was when they gave up Maria.
Yeah.
And then Maria gave Sal a necklace or some, I think it was the cross.
Yeah.
Or something. And she goes, Sal, I know it's your first flight, so here you go. Here's some good luck. And I'm like, they bonded.
That's so sweet. The fact that, because then it shows you this thing that you've been looking at the whole film, which is that when they were stuck in that bank for so long together, all of them just kind of became mates after a while.
Yeah, and God, again, that's Maria's like big. Again, we saw her in the bathroom and we knew her husband, but that's like Maria's moment.
Yeah,
or, like that's her only moment. But Maria's a character that I know from the film with such little like. How is that a thing?
And she has nothing to do, but
and yet and again, I'm thinking about it is always making me tear up a bit. Is when it's just and he never gonna go on the fucking flight.
Yeah,
and it's so fucking rough. It just really is rough. And again, the edit of that happening.
Yeah.
Cut. Sal, keep your gun up.
Yeah.
Cut. Gun. Bang. You don't even see it fully happen.
No. I was so... As soon as that armrest thing got flipped down, there was a gun underneath it, I was like, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I was so angry. And that shot into his head is so clean as well.
Yeah.
Like it is, but it's such the impact of that shot as soon as you feel it, as soon as it happens, and you're like, no, man.
And honestly, as soon as he gets pulled out and handcuffed, it's like you sucked out of that almost sense of calm. Not calm, that's not right. Security.
Yeah.
I guess. And it's like, shit. Now he's just a prisoner.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he's fucked.
He's so fucked.
Because it goes right from being like, hey, is there any food on here? And then like the FBI agent goes, yep, there's going to be hamburgers, isn't there? It'll be brilliant, Sonny.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, great stuff. Bang, get out the car. And it's like, oh no, he's got no one. Because he said goodbye to Leon. He basically said goodbye to his wife.
Yeah.
He hasn't got Sal with him now. The bank, the hostages, they're fucking done now. They're out. They're not going to be like, no, Sonny, they're fucking done.
Yeah, they're gone.
That's it. He's on his, like that, he's lost everything.
It was the moment that it happened. I was just so gutted for him. Because at the beginning of this movie, if he'd have just gone out and handed himself in to the police as soon as they got there, he'd have probably been, like, as Moretti says at the beginning, 5 years could be out in one.
Yeah, he was like, honestly, and he's like, you won't get much. He's like, I've got hostages, armed. It's like, you might get 5 at most. You haven't done anything you're going to regret.
Exactly. And it was, as the film goes on, it escalates and escalates and escalates. And then he gets caught at the end by the FBI agent. And I was like, because it's gotten so big now, and it was on national television, and the media's ramped it up and all this stuff, he is so fucked because of how big it got. And it's kind of from his own hubris, kind of.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is so gutting.
No, it's rough. It's a rough ending.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect to be emotional with this film.
No.
I expected to be thrilled. I expected to get well into the acting.
Yeah.
But once again, the ending, man, I didn't expect to get emotional.
No.
But I did.
And it's the fact that he kind of... It's the look that Al Pacino gives when he watches as Sal's taken away on the stretcher. And you see that he's like, fuck, that's my fault. And
Yes.
and also, you could have probably seen it coming because of... He got so big with the media and with people being behind what he was saying and stuff like that when he went out to be a spokesperson, that they couldn't really kill him because there'd be uproar. But there's that scene just after Agent Sheldon comes into the bank, and when he's leaving, and he says that thing about Sal, you know that he's got it in for him because Sal hasn't been as public. They can kill Sal if they want, and they do.
Oh yeah, because they're like, well, no one knows Sal.
Exactly.
The most they know is like, oh, two homosexual men.
Yeah.
That's what media is like. Because imagine if they killed Sonny, then there would be this uproar.
There'd be an
about,
uproar
like,
about it.
This big revolutionary icon that happened overnight.
Yeah. Was killed.
And then more shit on the police. Again, you could look at that in the sense of like they've already went through enough shit with Serpico.
Yeah. And then with Sal not being as in the limelight, he was killed for being a guy that was just kind of nervous about the situation that was happening and was scared about what was going to happen to him, which is so gutting.
One of my favorite moments in the film as well, when Sonny gets tackled by Maria's husband, and then the bank manager comes on, he's like, Sonny, he says he's going to shoot everyone if he doesn't see you in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then he runs in and he goes, Sal, it's okay. And again, you could look at that in a sense of like, oh, so all the media knows about Sal is like, he's a hothead who's going to gun everyone down.
Yeah.
Which
isn't
it's
him
not.
At all.
No.
And it is another example of this idea of how the media can manipulate things in the sense of the media made Sonny too big to be killed.
Yeah.
Which is a thing that happens when someone gets so big in the public eye that bad things can't happen to them.
Ted Bundy.
Big example. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
How during his court cases he just became, oh, look at Ted.
Yeah.
He's defended himself. Look at this handsome bloke.
Yeah, and it's
like that's what that was.
And it's such a real thing that can happen that it got the other guy that arguably did less. Killed for just going along with his mate's plan. Which, as you see as the film goes along, was probably Sonny's idea in the first place.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah. It's a sad ending.
Is there any more notes you have on Dog Day Afternoon?
No, my last one is just, holy shit, it's the dude from Aliens. But that's my last one.
Yeah, my last note was the pacing's phenomenal, and it fucking is, mate.
Yeah, it's really good.
This is kind of like what happened with the conversation. I liked it more from discussing this with you.
Yeah.
This is like this is a film that, God, I love this film.
Yeah.
Just flat out. Like, it's a film that I will go back to. I was saying to my mum before I watched the film, I was like, I think you would probably like this.
I sent it to Leo straight away.
Yeah.
He'd love this film.
Yeah. It's, again, I think there's so much in it for so many different people to like it.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a film that, like, if it gets enough people watching it, it can have a big audience, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna message my dad and see if he's ever heard of this, because he'd love this. He would absolutely adore it.
If you love crime thrillers, you're gonna love this. If you love small character pieces, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
If you love thrillers, you're probably gonna love this. If you love emotional character pieces, You're gonna love this.
If you love Al Pacino, just generally, you're
Yeah.
probably gonna love this movie because he's excellent.
If you love the theater, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
It's a This could get a stage adaptation.
Oh, yeah, and probably a really good one at that.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it has.
Yeah.
But it can. It can. It really can. And of course, if you love John Cazale,
Like me. The love of my life, John Cazale.
I loved your Instagram story, by the way. It's brilliant.
Uh,
if you haven't seen it, Robbie filmed him watching the film with John Cazale walking in the bank. And what was the song playing over it?
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine.
That's it. And I'm watching. I was like, of course he did. Of course he did.
I love that man so much. Him and his big old forehead.
You know what we need to do?
Go on.
After we do the next two films, in mind, we need around for the 10th episode, Robbie, of the Intermission Podcast.
Oh my God, it will be.
We need because this is 7.
Yeah.
Then next week we'll do
12 Angry Men, which is
8. We do another film which is 9.
Secret one. I'm real excited about it.
And for 10, we need to finish off the John Cazale filmography and do the Deer Hunter, which I've never seen.
Yes.
We need to do number 10 for Deer Hunter.
Yes, we do. Definitely.
There you go. To round off the John Cazale filmography.
Perfect. And that can be book 1. John Cazale.
Yeah. Book 1. But yeah, that's Dog Day Afternoon. Fucking phenomenal film.
So good. If for some reason you haven't seen it, but you're still listening to this, go watch it. It's real good.
It's a film. If you're a filmmaker and you haven't seen Dog Day Afternoon, I think this is quite essential, actually.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there.
If you're an editor, you should watch Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah.
If you're a cinematographer, you should watch Dog Day Afternoon. If you're a writer, you should watch it.
You should read it. I want to read the script first. Be excellent.
Same. Dog Day produce. I think even from a producer standpoint.
Yeah.
It's again. I think if you're set design, because it's not the trivia, but one thing I learned earlier, it's on location, but that bank was built, like the interior, because that was just an empty warehouse.
Oh, that's a built set for the movie.
And it was not a sound stage, but that was just an empty warehouse that they decked out to look like the bank.
That's excellent stuff. That's really good.
Mm-hmm. And with that being said, we may as well move on to some trivia because there's going to be some interesting stuff.
Onto the trivia.
Unlike, I was looking forward to talking about the Apocalypse Now trivia when we did it, but that was more because of how fucked up a lot of those stories were. This one's not going to be like that. It's just a load of interesting stuff with this.
Cool.
And there's a lot of trivia to it as well. Right, so first bit of trivia. Al Pacino's now legendary shout into the crowd of Attica was an improvisation. Pacino credits assistant director Burt Harris with giving him the idea. Charles Durnin's confused reaction was completely natural as he wasn't sure what his character was supposed to do next.
That's great. That makes me very happy.
So Moretti's reaction was just Charles Durnin's reaction to it. Because he's like, this isn't in this. What do I do now? So he's,
Yeah.
The film's dialogue is mostly improvised while completely honouring the structure of the original screenplay.
Yeah.
After rehearsing for 3 weeks with his cast, Sidney Lumet took the improvisations from those rehearsals and made that the official screenplay.
Right.
So
that's really interesting. Yeah. That's an interesting way of doing it anyway. And you can tell that a lot of it's improvised because of how natural it feels. For a lot of it. And
again, for my own selfishness of connecting myself to it, I didn't intentionally do it, but that's how I kind of did it with when we did the uni project, The Muse.
Yeah.
Was we just did weeks of rehearsing.
Yeah.
And see what worked and what didn't. Which, I mean,
because we were changing that script until the last day of shooting.
Oh yeah.
We're still knocking lines off and rewriting lines to make more sense and stuff.
I was asking the two actors if that felt right. If it didn't feel right, what do they think that would happen? And it's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
That's not me patting myself on the back. That's me just saying Lumet did a fucking brilliant job. And as someone who's done that technique, it does work quite well. Right. Sidney Lumet is not normally a big fan of improvisation, but he felt that it was appropriate for this film, allowing the robbers, cops, and bank hostages to devise their own characters.
Right. Yeah.
Which, again, with all the hostages, as we said, all the girls in there, like, again, the girl who just chews gum.
Yeah.
That's clearly, like, that just feels like Lumet's, like, just do whatever you feel like would be your character.
Yeah.
And she just probably did that, which, again... neat.
And it leads to characters who don't get a lot of play and don't get a lot to do, but being very defined and very memorable for the whole way.
Yeah. We took Sylvia, Maria. I'm a fucking star.
That guy. And I'm thinking like also playing into the idea of people changing for the cameras, giving them the opportunity if they haven't got a lot of things to play with in the script. It gives them the opportunity to act up and try and be as big as they possibly can to try and be memorable.
It's a very good point, yeah.
So that probably plays into it quite nicely. It's a very interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, it's like a double meta thing type of thing. Yeah. Right after Sonny fires his gun because they think the cops are sneaking in through the back of the bank, Sonny comes outside and gets yelled at by Sergeant Moretti. For this scene, Sidney Lumet told Charles Durnin to improvise and to immediately get Sonny on the defensive. He had 3 cameras rolling to capture whatever happened. Watching the scene, you can feel the spontaneous energy and confusion from both actors. It was an effective use of improvisation, though Lumet said he'd never tried it again.
Yeah, because a lot of that scene is just like, well, I didn't fucking tell him to go on the bad, did I? What are you talking about? And then Pacino shouting back at him and just... There's a lot of that for that scene.
Yeah. Yeah, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What's happening? He goes, what do you mean what's happening?
There's a lot of shouting over the top of each other.
And again, D.D. Allen editing that scene quite seamlessly as well, because I could only imagine being an editor and giving footage and be like, we just kind of roll the cameras. We don't really know what scene, what we want to have in there. So off you go, Dee.
Yeah, have fun.
She was probably like, all right.
Oh, all right, fine.
Another notable improvisation in the film was John Cazale's answer to Al Pacino's question of where in the world he'd like to fly to. Pacino's surprised response was absolutely genuine, as he had no idea what Cazale was going to say.
He says Wyoming.
And he goes, that's not a countryside. I'll sort it out. Like that.
That's good.
I took a photo of that, of just that scene, of not necessarily for that exact line, but I was going to post on Instagram and be like a sneak peek of when Robbie and I were in the edit suite.
Yeah.
Of just. It
doesn't even matter. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just on a side note, you know when you're saying about D.D. Allen being just given improvised footage and being like, we just kind of did this, have fun with it. Please never do that to me if I'm editing another one of your projects. Please never ever do that to me.
Hey Robbie, we just improv, so here you go.
Here you go, do what you want with it. Never do that to me.
The Muse almost happened like that. It almost happened.
Well, to be fair, yeah.
Where it was kind of improvising, but the actors were just so good that they knew the script off by heart anyway. So I was like, I didn't even need to suggest that.
Exactly.
Big up Joe and Al.
Shout out to Joe and Al, yeah.
Al Pacino and Chris Sarandon's phone conversation was totally improvised.
That is fucking marvelous.
Mm-hmm.
That's brilliant. That makes that scene even more special to me now.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And added on to that, Sidney Lumet made Al Pacino do the phone conversation with Leon a second time, even though his first take was perfect. Lumet's reasoning was because he saw how much the scene took out of his actor, and he wanted Pacino to look exhausted, as the character had been holed up in a bank and a highly stressful situation all day.
Oh, well.
Which, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, another addition to that scene. Sidney Lumet didn't want to interrupt the lengthy phone conversation between Sonny and Leon, largely improvised by Pacino and Sarandon, despite the fact that the cameras only held 10 minutes worth of film. He solved that problem by starting up a second camera just as the first was due to finish.
Oh.
The timing of that would have had to be fucking seamless.
Yeah, that's got to be spot on, that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But, I mean, I respect the hell out of that. Just be like, yeah, I'm just going to let you improv and we'll work around it.
Yeah.
But it's not like a difficult thing. It's clearly an easy enough thing to work around. It's like, we'll just have another one ready to roll.
Yeah, it's like you were saying about him being an actor's director.
Yeah,
that's a very good showing of that, yeah.
Although he had initially agreed to play the part of Sonny, Al Pacino told Sidney Lumet near the start of production that he couldn't play it. Pacino had just completed production on The Godfather Part 2 and was physically exhausted and depressed after the shoot. With his reliance on the method, Pacino didn't relish the thought of working himself up to a state of near hysteria every day. Lumet unhappily accepted the actor's decision and dispatched the script to Dustin Hoffman. Pacino changed his mind when he heard that his rival was being considered.
So it was nearly Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Right. See, it makes sense because, you know, I'd say that the character in this movie sometimes there was points in this film where the character of Sonny quite reminded me of, I can't remember what he's called, but Dustin Hoffman's character in Midnight Cowboy.
Yeah.
And they kind of look similar, I guess, but
yeah, they have a similar stature to them, I think.
Yeah, but I think Pacino's definitely the better choice for this.
But I love that, the fact how he's like, Dustin Hoffman was going to get off of the script, so then Pacino's like, I don't want him to do it.
Yeah, fuck that, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I find that interesting.
No, I think Pacino is definitely the better option there.
Yeah, which, I mean, this is the next point I'm going to make. Further solidifies the fact that Pacino would have been the best choice, is that in the 1972 Life magazine article that inspired the film, P.F. Kluge and Thomas More described robber John Wojtowicz as a dark, thin fellow with the broken-faced good looks of an Al Pacino or a Dustin Hoffman. Al Pacino, of course, played the role based on Wojtowicz. And he nearly quit the film. And when he nearly quit the film early on, the role was offered to Dustin Hoffman, which I find interesting. But when you look at photos of actually John Wojtowicz, Pacino was the best role, I think.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
For that time period, he has a more of an Italian American look to him than Hoffman.
Yeah, definitely.
Sal berates one of the bank tellers for smoking. This one's a bit of a tragic trivia fact, I want to say. Sal berates one of the bank tellers for smoking, saying he doesn't smoke because I don't want to get the cancer. John Cazale, a heavy smoker, died from lung cancer 3 years later.
Aww.
Which is a kind of a sad jewel blade there, in the sense of,
Rest in peace, my friend.
Honestly, yeah. The real bank robber, John Wojtowicz, had watched The Godfather to get ideas the day he robbed the Chase Manhattan Bank.
Wait, ideas for what? For how to threaten people
bank
and stuff, I guess?
I mean, yeah.
But there isn't any bank robbing in The Godfather, is there?
No, but probably the thought of, probably the threats.
Yeah.
Probably that.
That's pretty good. I enjoy that.
He was, that kind of makes sense when he goes to the phone and then Murray's like, what should I call you? He goes, call me Sonny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like Sonny in The Godfather.
Which kind of makes sense, because when he's like out and he's like shouting and doing all the thing, he's kind of very James Carney.
Yeah. And The Godfather Part 2 briefly, and not The Godfather Part 3. Because that film doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't.
Continue.
Imagine if they did a Part 3.
Imagine if they did do a third one, that'd be mental.
It'd probably be a mini-episode of the podcast if we did it.
Yeah, probably.
The real-life incident became a part of a police training on how to deal with hostage situations and crowds that were out of control.
Oh,
which is
that's interesting.
Yeah. John Cazale was cast as Al Pacino's he was cast at Al Pacino's insistence, despite being nowhere near the age of the real Sal, who was 18.
Oh, wow.
Sidney Lumet was opposed to the idea because the actor was clearly inappropriate for the part. However, when Cazale came in to read for the part, Lumet was sold on him within 5 minutes. I mean, he just steals everyone's hearts.
Because he's just an angel. He's an angel amongst men.
Sidney Lumet's like, I need him in the fucking...
Yeah.
I kind of like how he's a bit older, though. Like, for a film perspective.
Yeah.
It would have been a completely different dynamic if it was like an 18-year-old or like a young guy.
Yeah. And then what if they had,
it.
like, John Cazale being, like, Moretti or something?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty weird.
Yeah, that would have been strange.
Yeah.
Penelope Allen, who plays the blonde chief bank teller Sylvia, was a surrogate mother to Al Pacino. When he first left home in his teens to pursue acting, he lived with Allen and her husband for several years.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's lovely.
The film kind of has this kind of family vibe.
Yeah,
to
it does.
Through all of this, doesn't it? Like, it's just almost like a load of people who know each other.
Yeah. Oh, that's really nice.
Because of the outrageous quality of the real-life stories, Sidney Lumet deliberately chose not to look at any footage of what actually happened that day.
Oh.
Which I think's smart, because otherwise you're just going to be recreating new shots.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
This is a big piece of trivia. Most of the movie takes place in 3 locations: inside the bank, on the street outside, in the bank, outside the bank, and in the barbershop across from the bank. Standard procedure would be to shoot the street scenes on location and then film the bank and barbershop interiors on sets constructed at a studio, where it's much easier to control light and sound, etc. But Sidney Lumet wanted realistic continuity. He wanted us to see, for example, that when a character enters the bank from the street, he's really doing so, not walking through a location door and then entering a fake set miles away. So Lumet found a block of a Brooklyn street that suited his purposes, including a vacant warehouse that would be turned into a bank.
Right. There you go.
I mean, that's my mindset. I would just want to try and find an actual location,
Yeah.
make, as opposed to like just do it. I guess it creates more of like a real nature to it.
Yeah, it makes it more authentic. Like, if you you wouldn't see it, but subconsciously you'd know that they weren't in the same place if you never saw, like, you couldn't see the bank from across the road through the window of the barbershop or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's like, it's the fact you see the windows.
Yeah.
Like, that's like what really breaks that mold.
I think subconsciously you'd realise, and it would break the illusion a little bit.
Definitely. Halfway through the production, Al Pacino collapsed from exhaustion and had to be hospitalized for a short time. After production was complete, he decided to stop doing films for a while and return to stage work.
Oh, shit.
So, I mean, as much as we have criticized Pacino for being method in his way, again, as we said, he went from doing Godfather, Serpico, Godfather Part 2, Dog Day Afternoon, straight in a row. And if you're method acting, doing all those intense roles, I can imagine it taking a lot out of him and being like, I'm done for film for a while.
Yeah, and I think you could, from what I can gather, Godfather Part 2 really broke him.
Yeah, from bits of trivia that we've been reading.
Yeah, it really was a hard time for him, it seems like. So, and I mean, if anyone had earned a break there, definitely him.
Given 4 of the best performances ever.
Yeah, in a row.
in a fucking row.
So,
I think this performance in Dog Day Afternoon, I think it was the AFI, I can't remember. It was some sort of publication listed his performance in Dog Day Afternoon as the 4th best of all time, which I don't know. I still think I prefer his role as Serpico.
I was going to say I prefer Serpico, I think.
But, I mean, he's damn good in this as well.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, obviously. Might be my second favourite of his, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might prefer it over... I think Michael is a better character arc, but in terms of performance, I think his role in Sunny and Dog Day Afternoon is...
Yeah.
probably better as an actor's point of view.
Yeah, I'd say so,
The original working title was Boys in the Bank. Director Sidney Lumet hated it because he thought it made the film appear to be a light, fluffy comedy, and he had it changed to Dog Day Afternoon. He wanted a title that suggested a hot, stuffy day near the end of summer.
Yeah, I say so.
Boys in the Bank.
That's really daft. I'd like to think that it's boy spelled with a Z as well.
It's not, but if it was the 90s, it would have been.
Yeah, excellent stuff.
Boys in the Bank.
Boys in the Bank.
Starring Al Pacino and John Cazale as the Boys in the Bank. Rated R.
That's so bad. I'm so glad that wasn't it. Jesus.
That's like do you know what that reminds me of? When we read that bit of trivia of what the original written ending for Apocalypse Now was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was like Colonel Kurtz just machine gunning an American helicopter and screamed, "I can feel the power in my loins."
Yeah, no.
And then Coppola was like, "Maybe we should never do that in our entire fucking lives."
Yeah, maybe not that. Maybe anything else. Cool.
I can imagine Lumet. Right, it's the film. It's about the thing about John Watowitz, and it's this insane story. Okay, what's the title? It's called Boys in the Bank. And Lumet's like, how about it's never called that?
How about not that?
How about we never call it that in our entire lives?
I'd like to refer to it as that now. If we ever mention it again, it's got to be Boys in the Bank.
Boys in the Bank. The production shoot lasted 7 weeks with crews and cast working day and night. Due to director Sidney Lumet's speedy style of working, the film was complete 3 weeks ahead of schedule. Fucking legend.
Nice one. Well done, everyone.
Good on yous. According to Frank Pearson, Sidney Lumet didn't want him to remove the scene where Sonny dictates his will. The scene was the main reason why Lumet wanted to direct the movie.
Right.
So that's interesting.
That's really interesting.
I guess you could look at it in a sense like, oh, we kind of had the phone calls. We don't really need that. But, I mean, it works well because that's like kind of tie-in Sonny's character.
Yeah.
Up in that sense. Like, that's his last moments is just him.
Yeah, exactly.
Really. I like how he takes the pen off the girl. He goes, "I'll spell the last name. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
No, I think we definitely need that scene.
As someone who has a name Fitchit, I've had to do that many times when I've been, let me just spell my name.
Yeah, let me just, sweet Earl. Let me just do it.
Have you had that?
Oh,
People
all
ask
the
you to
time.
spell the name. Really?
Yeah. Well, I get
Seems
as
quite
well.
basic to me in terms of spelling.
Well, I get my first name wrong. I don't know what it is about the way I say it, but people think I'm called Robin. A lot. It happens all the time. For like my first 2 weeks of high school, everyone thought I was called Robin. I just went with it because I didn't want to correct anyone because I wanted friends. So I was called Robin for like the first 2 weeks of high school.
And then you have to go like, "I'm Robbie."
Yeah, it's Robbie. I said it after like a week.
I love it. I should really correct these people.
Yeah.
I'm going to be talking.
It was really bad.
That's brilliant. The bar across the street from the bank is clearly seen as Moe's Tavern. Hank Azaria, who voices Moe on The Simpsons, has stated that the inspiration for Moe's voice was Sonny.
What?
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I like that a lot.
That's
Good
interesting.
old Hank Azaria.
That's the second Simpsons fact we've had in
It is,
the
yeah.
Intermission Podcast. Because we had one about Godfather Part 3.
Yeah.
Simpsons keep popping up in these trivias.
Yeah. And obviously with Fat Tony's mate being based on Sonny from The Godfather.
Yes.
There's another one.
Yes. Here's something that it would be heavily inspiring to us, Robbie.
Go on.
The only lighting sources used in the film were lights that were available in reality. Fluorescent tubes, emergency lights, street lamps, auto headlights.
God, that makes me happy. That's brilliant.
What I also learned was since they built the set,
Yeah.
they specifically placed the lights where they knew it would be necessary. And you know that scene where Sonny's talking to his mum?
Yeah.
She's quite lit up in the face.
Mm-hmm.
All that is the street lamps bouncing it off the white bank, and that's the reason why they wanted the bank to be white.
Oh, that's so clever.
So it can reflect light. So they didn't need to worry about, like, any other external outdoor light. So it's like the white bank, so the sun beams down and just bounces the light off that big building.
That's really clever.
I
love that.
And the more I read about this, the more I'm thinking to myself, I want to do a film where I don't do artificial lights.
Yes. Where I never have to think about lights again for the rest of my life.
That might genuinely be my next thing, because I can pull up a load of things for research. I can show this film. I can show The Revenant.
Yeah, that'd be another one.
I could be like, you know what? I'm making sure I'm just doing natural lighting. Bang!
God, that'd be brilliant. So never have to worry about it again.
I'm not sure how much of because also what's slightly cool from inspiring for me is Eric Striffler. Whenever he does film things,
yeah,
he's been on record saying, like, he doesn't fuck with lights.
Yeah.
And when you actually look at some of his stuff of when he's done scripted stuff, it's actually nice. They look nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like you just need to, like, have a good camera with sound lens or whatever, and editing and that, color correction and that for, like, any adjusting.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for any excuse to never fuck with lights.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just never want to do it in my life. That one, that when we did the filming, God, that one day.
It was the worst thing in the world. You were lucky to have me come in later on.
Oh, that was the set. Was that? Oh no, that was the first day of shooting. Yeah.
Yeah, when everything was on fire when I got back. Everyone had just lost their minds. You'd had to go for a walk. They were like, we can't get this lighting sorted. And I was like, why just do this? I just turned it like a little bit and they were like, oh my God, it's perfect.
I didn't walk out. I didn't go for a walk. I went to Joe and Elle. I went, let's go out.
Yeah.
I remember I went out the room and I sat down and they sat down with me and I went, I just think we need a bit of a break. And then I was just chilling. I just saw, and then producer Talia, came out of the room and went, it's fine, Robbie's fixed the lights.
Yeah, and you like, when did Robbie get here?
Yeah, and then I just saw you. I just saw your head pop out round her shoulder. I went, I did an Oscar. And I went like, I'll be there in a bit. I just need to recollect myself.
Oh God, that was a funny day.
It was like a fucking. It was. I know we joke about you being my son, but that was like the pinnacle of, like, its son being like, Dad, I did something.
Dad, I did it.
You don't need to be angry.
Exactly. Oh, it was so good.
There's moments from that shoot that day of production that I liked a lot.
Yeah.
It was the only proper full day of production we had.
Yeah, full 8-hour day of shooting.
Cheers, COVID.
Yeah, cheers, COVID. You pricks.
Ruined everything. Editor Dee Allen used Elton John's Amarina as a placeholder during the rough cut of the opening sequence. After the editing of that sequence was finalised, she took the song out. Sidney Lumet missed it, so he acquired the rights to the song in the finished product.
Well done, because it fits really well.
It works well a lot, actually.
Yeah, it does. I think it just helps that I'm a big Elton John fan, but, you know.
That was my first thought. I was like, Elton John, I was like, Robbie's going to love this. Yeah. Writer Frank Pearson was unable to personally interview Sonny Watowitz because the latter wasn't able to reach an agreement on how much he should be paid for his story.
Ah.
So Sonny Watowitz was not involved with anything of the creative process with this film.
So, well, it would have been an interview in prison, I imagine.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
Watowitz was paid $7,500 plus 1% of the net movie profits for the movie rights for his story. He gave $2,500 to Ernest Aaron, who is the real life Leon, to have the operation. Aaron had the surgery and changed her name to Liz Eden. She died of AIDS in 1987. Watowitz was released from prison after serving 5 years of his 20-year sentence, and he died of cancer in 2006.
Wow. Well,
So that's what happened after all that.
yeah, because there was the bit at the end when the credits came up saying that he'd gone to prison for 20 years, and that Leon had got the sex change operation and now lived in, I can't remember.
Somewhere in New York.
Somewhere, yeah. And me and my sister were very happy at the fact that you found out that he did eventually have the operation.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's really nice.
But what's interesting, he had the operation, but it was funded from the rights to the film.
Yeah. Which they didn't mention, but that's a really nice little touch, that.
In the original script, Sonny and his transsexual lover were supposed to take part in a scene outside the bank in which a heartfelt goodbye was to take place along with a kiss. Al Pacino refused to do this, claiming it would take away from the phone conversation between Sonny and Leon. Frank Pearson was forced to make appropriate changes. This resulted in just a telephone conversation instead. I like that a lot more.
Yeah, I like that a lot more. I think he's right in saying that it would take away from the phone conversation, which it definitely would.
As I was reading that bit of trivia, I saw Al Pacino refused to do this, and my thought, as I was reading it for the first time, I was like, don't say because he refused to kiss a dude.
Yeah, I was like, I was thinking that as you were saying, I was like, oh no.
But no, he did it because he was like, it's going to take completely everything away.
Yeah, which is right. I'd agree with that.
Yeah. And the final bit of trivia. Here we go.
Go on.
Al Pacino originally grew a mustache as a way to help him deal with the fact that he was playing a gay man. In Sidney Lumet's words, however, Pacino's mustache looked terrible, and after the first day of filming, Pacino agreed. Watching the footage, Pacino told Lumet the mustache has got to go, and asked if he could shave it and redo that day's work. Lumet agreed, and the mustache was gone, as was a day's worth of footage.
Right. I mean, it's the original mustache kid. It's like Justice League all over again. But the fact that he was saying in preparation to play a gay man, he grew a mustache. What does that mean? That means nothing, Al. What are you talking about?
It's even also weirder because Johnny Wadowitz didn't have a mustache at all. There was
what's that got to do with anything? Having a mustache and all? That's so dumb.
Also, it would have been too close to being like, is this just Frank Serpico if he was gay?
Yeah, exactly.
That's just what it would have been.
That makes literally zero sense at all.
I mean, we all have our faults, and Al Pacino thought at the time, it was like, I'm playing a gay man. Best grow some facial hair.
Best grow a mustache. That'll do it.
Which, I don't know, that makes even more zero sense, because he did Serpico prior, and he had a mustache, and as we established, Frank Serpico, very straight.
Yeah, not gay. As opposed to what the head teacher from Back to the Future will have you believe. Frank Serpico is not a gay man.
Mustache does not equal gay.
Yeah, mustache doesn't equal gay. Get it on a t-shirt.
Mustache does not equal gay.
Yeah. Perfect.
So that's some trivia for Dog Day Afternoon. Fascinating trivia, I think.
Love it. Yeah, really good stuff there.
I want to read more about the actual situation. You know what? There's a documentary called The Dog about John Wadowitz, which came out not long ago, but it was filmed before he died.
Right, okay.
And I think it was filmed in the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. So, again, it's another one of those ones where I'll be interested in looking that up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I want to watch the Frank Serpico documentary, and I want to watch the documentary The Dog.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah. So, to learn more about John Wadowitz.
Yes,
from the trailer that I saw of John Wadowitz from that film, John Wadowitz seemed to have very much so taken himself as a very camera-friendly person after all of that. Right,
okay.
He got very confident on camera.
Right.
Because there's a bit in the trailer where I can't remember, so I'm paraphrasing, where he was like, the story was so insane and weird. That's why they made a movie about it. And he's like that with it. So it's he got a bit cocky with it all.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Whatever you say, lad.
He's a bit too big for his bridges, I think, with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. Anyway, negative Letterboxd reviews.
Oh, I'm so ready.
Here we go.
Should have had a mustache.
Can we get right? The Hall of Fame that we've got so far.
Yeah.
In terms of Letterboxd reviews, it's the mustache stuff. From Godfather Part 1.
Yeah.
Poop and Too Much Jungle for Apocalypse Now. And last week I thought I was going to like this, but it was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
From Serpico.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can get any on that Hall of Fame for Dog Day Afternoon.
Let's have a look.
This one's a lengthy one. Half a star. I know how Roger Ebert felt walking out of the Brown Bunny at Cannes. Never in my memory has seen a film made my blood boil so intensely. With many of my favourite art house films, populist detractors will often describe them as masturbating on camera. But while watching this, a supposed touchstone of crime cinema, I took that phrase to heart. Not only was Lumet's film extremely masturbatory to me, but it felt like he was doing such an act into my eyes, and trust me, it burnt like no other movie I've seen has. The Lumet I saw in his wonderful 12 Angry Men was so likeable and empathetic, but come the 70s, he seemed to pick screenplays with no idea of taste or decency, often seeming to like scenes just because of how edgy they were. Yes, I get that the mainstream media can sensationalize things, but when Oliver Stone presents the statement in a linear fashion than you, that says something. I'm sorry for manically trashing a film so loved by everyone else, but when a connoisseur of complimentive cinema suffers such unbearable frustration just from a movie, he really needs someone to talk to.
What a wanky twat.
There's one comment on this. What is it?
Go on.
So, what was the problem with this film? What aspects did you find masturbatory? This is easily one of my favorite films, and it has a special place in my heart of many New Yorkers.
Yeah, that's right. First of all, he was very pretentious about that whole thing. In the way that he was wording it. He's like, oh, avant-garde and whatever. Also, there's a big old semantic field of masturbation there. Don't know what that was about. That was a bit very strange.
I think it's saying that the film was wanky, which I think it really wasn't.
It's really not. It's very grounded, very real world.
Yep.
No, not very wanky at all. To be honest,
I feel that's a statement that's littered with just things saying the film was like this, but there's no like examples of why they think that was like that.
Yeah,
like
I disagree.
The film, yeah, definitely.
I disagree with this person.
So, right, half a star. Should we be glorifying robbers? It didn't glorify robbery at all.
Yeah, no.
In fact, it was more of a commentary on like people who do find it glorify, who can glorify it.
Yeah, it was about a guy who gets excited at the fact that he is glorified by people who just mass move towards something. So none of that. Thanks.
There's one comment saying, I have no idea how you watched this and thought anyone was glorifying robbers.
Yeah, no, it's not really.
Nope. I don't watch this film and think, fuck yeah, you know what? I should rob a bank.
Yeah.
If anything, it's like, I'd never want to be in this situation in my entire life.
Yeah, because it ends very poorly for everyone involved.
1 star. One of his worst movies. Very bad director too. Scenes that make no sense at all and a lot of useless actors. Whoa. A lot of useless actors.
Excuse me.
A film with fucking John Cazale, and you're saying useless actors?
Get this garbage out of here, Oscar. Get him out.
I'm not even going to comment anymore on that. I'm moving on swiftly from on.
Get him out of here.
1 star. Besides Al Pacino's brilliant performance, I mean, come on, is he even able to be mediocre? This film is mediocre at best. And let's not forget how brutally overrated it has become. A film with no soul, no goals, and definitely no points. No point.
What?
There's like 3 points that's made in this film. There's like so many. Like,
yeah, no, that's dumb. Idiot.
Get it out. Get it out.
Get it out of here.
1 star. Painful, dull, and uneventful to watch. I know I'll fall asleep easily after this one. Uneventful?
Why would you fall asleep after it, you idiot? If it was really that boring, you'd fall asleep during it. Get him out of here.
Get it out of here. Uneventful. Don't believe what you're even looking at.
Bullshit.
These reviews are just being angry.
Yeah, these are just annoying. These are just irritating more than anything.
1 star and a half. This Midnight Cowboy sequel left a lot to be desired. Ratso tries to rob a bank by doing the Adam Sandler impression.
It's not Dustin Hoffman. God damn it. I said this.
I have to admit that was a bit funny though.
That was pretty funny. Ratso robbing a bank doing an Adam Sandler impression. That's a pretty good one. But
So I disagree wholeheartedly, but
yeah.
I appreciate the comedic element.
Yeah, I appreciate the comedy of that. That's pretty good.
Best one of the day so far.
Yeah.
I tried to sit on my couch and enjoy this movie, but I just couldn't. I love Al Pacino and he does a fantastic job, but that's about my only memorable part. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm liking that everyone's kind of still acknowledging, whether they like the movie or not, that Al Pacino's amazing in it.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
again,
that's pretty good.
Star and a half. I don't know about that.
Yeah. I'd like some love from my boy John Cazale, though, please.
He's fucking beautiful in this film. Star and a half. Not that good.
Well, you're not that good.
I just looked at the name. This is the bloke that gave us our main review from last week.
Wait, really?
This is Blue God, who said, thought I would like this, but it turned out to be a piece of shit.
Blue God, what's wrong with you?
Why am I finding you in the negative reviews on fucking...
If he ever shows up again, I'll be very excited. And if we can ever find him, I'd like to get him as a guest on the show.
Imagine if we became mates with this dude.
Yeah. That'd be excellent.
All right, I'm going to keep an eye on you, Blue God. You keep popping up in these. Right. 2 stars. This is a lengthy one.
Go on.
Some points from a trans woman. Okay. I'm
nice.
interested. 1. Sonny does not exist, and his inspiration is irredeemable. The man's name was John Wadowitz, and the crime wasn't executed primarily to pay for any gender affirming operation. It was originally by the mafia. I need to look more into that. Number 2, John was a perverted rapist who didn't value LGBTQ individuals. He converted them as fetishes to satisfy his kinks. He wasn't attracted to trans women as they were women. He was attracted because he saw them as no more than men in dress up, and the idea it turned him on. 3, he joined an LGBTQ alliance group solely to satisfy his fetish, and he developed a reputation for being a sex-crazed monster. 4, John factually did not work on the bank robbery to pay for affirming surgery, but not because he agreed with it. His wife at the time, who also has repeatedly been dead-named by most publications, by the way, became suicidal, presumably from dysphoria around the surgery. And he only chose to take the paycheck because he wanted her alive for sex, not because he knew it was what she needed. Point number 5. John was far from an ally and was a despicable fetishist who should have been acknowledged as such. But even beyond that point, quit calling this movie gay. A man dating a trans woman is not gay, and stating such is implicative of your belief that trans women are just men. Point number 6. Enjoying the movie is relative and cannot be controlled, but this story is a possibly appropriately sensationalized gloss over of what was really going on. Sonny is far from the truth of the matter. My point I have to make about that, I need to look more into that.
Yeah.
Have a comment about that.
I would say, in regards to that, I don't know the true story, and I don't know anything about the real guy to comment on that. If you were offended by it, and that is how it was, then I can completely understand that. But I would say that the representation of the LGBT community in the film, if you just take the film as a standalone piece, irregardless of what it was based on, I would say that the film representation of the LGBT community in that film is quite good.
Exactly. I'm just looking briefly at the comments on this review. There seems to be quite a few comments and a discussion that's happened within that. You know what? I'm going to link to that comment section of this review, because it seems like there's because I'm looking at the comment that reviewer made.
Yeah.
She also commented on her review saying, I know this makes me look like some edgy contrarian, and the last thing I want to do is simply imply that this movie can't be likable, but I can't just ignore how this movie made me feel within the context. The idea that Sonny has any shred of genuine humanity in this movie when compared to the man himself is a massive crock of bullshit. Al Pacino remains a strong actor, though, I will give it that. So the person seems to be well of mind.
Yeah.
So if you want to look at that, go for that. Be respectful. That's all I say. Yeah. I talk about it as a film itself, and as you said there, the film itself, I think, is a very respectful look within LGBTQ.
Yeah.
And I look at it more in the sense of, like, it's amazing that film came out in the 70s.
Exactly, yeah.
Personally. It's kind of like, I guess, like, you know, like how, like, some people look at Great Showman and they say it's despicable how they handle P.T. Barnum, but if you just simply take the fact that it is P.T. Barnum and just look at it like as a film, I think that's where the enjoyment of the film really does take place. It's like, I can totally understand all that point there. So
100%, yeah.
I would credit the person review there. Her name is Lizzie on Letterboxd. So there you go. Again, I'll link the review there because it seems like a conversation has been had in the comments and that. And yeah.
Cool.
And there's 2 reviews I'm not going to do because they're both foreign. Again, one day I'll do it.
One of these days when Duolingo's done its work, you'll be on there.
And the final review on this is 2-star, unremarkable, and frankly boring.
Why are you lying for?
Which I'll say no.
Get it out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
So what I'll say is, reviews, I'd say, for the funniest one, I'd have to say what has to be the This Midnight Cowboy sequel left a lot to be desired. Ratso trying to rob a bank by doing an Adam Sandler impression.
Pretty solid.
You know, that needs to be certain sections. That needs to be the on the Hall of Fame in terms of you give us a good laugh there.
Yeah,
I'll
well
throw
done.
That name, Danny. That's the guy's name.
Well done, Danny.
Favorite films include Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Nice.
The Manchurian Candidate, and
Never seen it.
Midnight Cowboy.
Woo! It's a good one.
So there you go. But I would also say, like, you know what? Highlight review. I'll highlight Lizzie's review as well because some valid points there. Interesting conversation that seems to be happening in the comments. Link in the description there. Lizzie, she's a Patreon on Letterboxd. Not for us. We don't have a Patreon. We're not there yet.
We're not that successful.
Shout out some of her favourite films being Never Let Me Go, In the Mood for Love, The Addiction, and Punch Drunk Love. Punch Drunk Love.
Very nice.
Brilliant. I need to rewatch Punch Drunk Love. I really do.
Yeah.
And with that being said, that's Letterboxd reviews.
Cool.
Interesting ones there. You know what, Robbie? I think I love the conversation review we did. The podcast. I love the Godfather Part 3 podcast that we did.
Mm-hmm.
This might be my favourite one we've done so far from purely just loving a film.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this one.
And we had good trivia. We had, I think, a nice, refreshing review section there.
Yeah.
I've liked this one.
Well done, everyone.
I've liked this one. I want to lead on to the outro.
Yeah.
First thing I want to say, I want to get a. This isn't a dad Oscar thing.
Right.
Everyone's been this isn't a dad Oscar, but this is serious Oscar.
Older brother Oscar.
That's actually a good way to look into it. I'm not like this is older brother Oscar. Within the past week, two close friends of mine, I would consider them close friends, have experienced rough times. I'm not going to name names because that's just in case all that. But two people that I know have experienced some hard times right now. And all I want to, this is just a general little thing that I was thinking about earlier today, and last night as well. And I want to just throw this message out every now and then. Life's rough. Life is rough. It's going to come with a good sense of roadblocks and sometimes some vicious potholes that you may be not at all able to feel like you can get your car back out of it. And it might things seem difficult. And also people, obviously, you have your own way of healing from any tough time, and any form of that should be taken into your own pace with things. But also, it sounds proper naff. It gets better because it does. Anything like that, it's rough. But also, from what I've learned from my small time of feeling like an adult, what comes out of pain gives you come out of it with strength. And there's a lyric to a song that is kind of like that, and I can't remember the song. I'm kind of fucking that point up.
You were doing so well, mate.
There's a lyric to a song that I actually really like. That I'm gonna have to move on from it. But the point is, what comes out of pain brings light and strength. And I'm going to have to look up that lyric at some point because it's driving me insane. But that's why I want to say, anyone who's going through any rough time, I'm saying this now because two of my friends, quite tragically, this exact same day, I found it out about these two different people that I know, something not great happened in their lives. Yeah. And it just made me think that there. And I'm like, you know what? Just want to throw that out there. Anyone who's going through any tough times, go through any pain. It's okay to feel down. Yeah. It's okay to pull yourself away from things, but also you'll grow from it and you'll be stronger from it. And yeah, that's what I want to say there. So that's older brother Oscar right there.
Yeah. Much love to both those people.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd just like to add.
I want to, leading on to that, next week's discussion is continuing with Sidney Lumet. Robbie, we've been stuck in the 70s and we peaked out to the 90s for a bit. I didn't want to go there, but we did.
But we did it to that film that doesn't exist.
We went to the 90s and we immediately went back to the 70s.
Yeah, we didn't want it again.
We're back there. We'll go back to the 90s for something a bit more.
Yeah.
Loving. A few more.
God, I'm so fucking excited. I'm going to keep teasing that because I'm really excited about it.
You'll find out about it next week, but I'm really fucking excited for next week.
Yes,
we've been in the 70s. The Intermission Podcast. I want to go back to a bit more classic. We're going to the 50s, Robbie.
Woo!
A big golden age for film in my eyes. I think it's one of the strongest time periods. I think the 50s, 60s, and 70s are the strongest decades for film.
Cool.
And specifically, with my all-time favorite film, Robbie, Sidney Lumet still.
12 Angry Men.
It's Sidney Lumet's first film as well.
Oh.
And it's my favorite film, 12 Angry Men. This is going to be the first time I discuss it on any platform.
God, that's exciting.
Because I never did it for when we did Heel Pictures, because I was like, you know what, I want to save it.
Yeah.
For when I want to really do a deep dive video into it. And I always thought, if I'm going to do it, I'll do it in a podcast form. Never realized that'll happen for the Intermission Podcast.
Yeah.
I'm excited and intimidated because it is my favorite film, and I've never deep dive analyzed it before, Robbie.
Cool.
I never have, and I'm looking forward to.
And I've never seen it.
Ah, mate.
So it'll be an interesting one next week.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to delving into more older films like that.
Yeah.
Because that's why I want to do more with the intermission, because there's just a feeling that you get from an old film.
Yeah.
Like an old black and white film. I love it. I watched some old Jimmy Stewart film. I watched The Philadelphia Story and It Happened One Night a few weeks back now.
Mm-hmm.
Both 40s and 30s films, but you know what I mean. But it's still, oh man, there's just something about that era film.
Yeah.
Like those old era films. There's just something special with it. So go watch 12 Angry Men in however way you can. Preferably legal if you can, but do what you can. And that'll be next week's podcast. Swift in. What was those words?
Swift
in. I was just simply going to say, remember to keep with us on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know where Swift in came from.
Swift
Should that
in.
be the thing that I say? Swift in to Instagram and Twitter.
It can be a Swift in, can be a bye. We can use it to say goodbye, I guess.
I don't know. But on Instagram, we're at the Intermission Podcast. You can see all sorts of things there. I've recently been creating highlights on Instagram if you want to for full episodes, we got them there. For Francis Ford Coppola episodes, we got them there.
Yeah.
Sidney Lumet, got it there. Specifically Godfather films, there as well. I'm going to create a John Cazale highlight.
Oh, yes.
Because we just have to, really.
Obviously.
Which just reminded me there, Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
I'll flash it up on screen. This is going to give me more work to do in the edit, but it's fine. I'm going to send you both photoshops of what I did of last night.
Oh, God, I'm excited. Are you sending me on Messenger or Skype?
On Messenger, and I want your opinion of which one you think is the best one.
Okay.
When it actually sends. But while Facebook's been an absolute prick, I want to just say what you can get on what you can get if you go to the Instagram. You can't really get much on the Twitter, but on the Instagram, right there's an exclusive video of when I watched The Godfather Part 3.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie, how did that turn out? Because I can't tell usually with things.
What do you mean?
That video, was it good? Was it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Right?
Yeah.
Did it convey my insanity by the end of it?
Yeah.
One of my favorite
by the end.
One of my favorite shots of that whole fucking thing is when I was on the toilet, when I was in the bathroom, and there's a shot of me looking directly in the camera, and I paused it. I was like, I've never looked more suicidal in my whole life.
Oh yeah.
I looked absolutely dead. So go and see that. There's also a clip that's on the IGTV section on the Instagram.
Yeah.
And all that. There's also a video of a cut bit of audio before we did the conversation podcast of when we chatted about birthdays and uni filming and monopods. So yeah, that one, the second one. Okay, I flash them up. You can see them now. I did some photoshopping because I wanted to do some. I wanted to do a John Cazale honor.
God, we love him so much.
So there you go. I kind of did that, and I looked at it. I went like, fucking what? I would love to have that as a shirt.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we could because we don't have rights to John Cazale.
Yeah, we don't have rights to John Cazale's face.
We might have to call up the estate and be like, look, we love him. We love him so much.
Please,
can we? All the proceeds will go to you. We won't even make any money off it. We just want shirts with John Cazale. That's all we want. There you go. There's the new profile picture, guys, that you've just seen there.
Woo!
Did you ask Julia about the banner picture of John Cazale riding Alfie?
I haven't yet. I will ask her on Tuesday. I didn't think you did. When I ask her about the Paco.
Can you remember what it is?
Yeah.
Can you remember what it is?
No.
What the line is? It's it's about the music. It's like, listen to the song. No, it's this. Oh, is it? Yeah, you can hear better over here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Just go. No, you know what, Robbie? You just need to go back to the scene and just look up and see like what you can do.
What can I use? Because
that whole scene is just him just trying to be smooth as fuck. Can confirm.
Yes.
The song line doesn't work on Tinder.
Oh no.
Can confirm.
Oh mate. God, that's devastating.
I've never been unmatched quicker in my fucking life.
And on that bombshell. We got 12 Angry Men next week. We're 3 minutes. 3 minutes in. No, 3 hours and 1 minute in.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
No, we did it. I can't believe we did it. The whole point of like doing some of these things was to reduce the runtime of this shit.
We broke it down to 3 hours.
It's an hour fucking longer than the film.
Is that the longest one we've done?
It is.
Oh, Jesus. Right, we're going to have to swiftly say bye. Swift in, everyone. See you next week.